Hello and welcome to the Blood Bowl Diaries, episode 8 with me, Hellboy.
And me, the fear.
Episode 8, Fear. Wow, we say it every time, but I'm still gobsmacked that we've managed to produce so many of these things. It's going to be an interesting one because I think this episode is going to be a bit more based on online side of Blood Bowl a bit. You know, still NAF style, but online stuff because I haven't actually been to any tabletop tournaments. How about yourself?
Well, this is it, isn't it? And I think in episode 1, we said we were going to focus on the tabletop and NAF style. But you know what? I've got a tournament coming up next month. I think you've got one the month after, and then I've got one. Well, you've got a couple the month after probably, and then I've got one the month after that. So we're going to have a lot of tabletop to talk about coming up. But I think what's nice here is, yes, away from the sort of tabletop tournaments, we have been doing quite a bit of NAF style stuff on Fumble, playing different teams in different kinds of tournaments, and so yeah, I think there's a bit to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. I think,
and really, it's not hugely different because it's the same rule sets, really.
yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's similar rule set, similar concept. The resurrection format. It's just we're playing it online rather than on the tabletop. Before we start that though, because I think that really this is the only Blood Bowl I've been doing. Is this the only Blood Bowl you've been doing? We don't really need to tap into anything else, do we?
No. I mean, I don't think there's anything else really, unless you've been. I hadn't seen that you've been streaming recently. I think you've been working far too
Yeah,
hard,
I've been working far too much. There's too much going on now, so I haven't done. I did stream a couple of the Fumble games that I played, but yeah, I just haven't had the time to stream, unfortunately, because of real life. There was one announcement that came out of Games Workshop though, which is that we're getting Amazons now. Obviously,
Yes.
so obviously on this podcast, many other podcasts are available, and no doubt other podcasts will very comprehensively cover the Amazons when we know the rules, when we know what each of these new maybe positionals are going to be. All this. We don't need to read too much in between the lines because other podcasts will cover that. But I think we should mention that it is, as both of us are quite keen Amazon players, aren't we? So I'm kind of excited to see what's brought to the table. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm interested and excited. Yeah, you're right. Obviously, both of us have got a bit of a vested interest, being fairly keen Amazon players. And what have we've had so far? We've had a couple of star players teased and a box set that we've seen. Is that right? Have I missed anything?
Yeah, I think that's it. And there's the usual wording that Games Workshop use that might mean, Amazons are suddenly now movement 8, or it might mean that someone has, that the average movement is no longer movement 6, it's actually movement 4 or something. So Amazons are still movement 6 and are faster than the movement 4 players, so therefore they've got some speed. Like there's so much you can read into these articles if you choose to.
Yes.
I think someone in Games Workshop loves just making stuff for the rumor mill. That's what they call it, isn't it? The rumor mill, where they just churn out these leaked things or these tiny teasers and stuff. And I bet someone somewhere goes, oh yeah, we'll use that word because that will get everyone thinking that we've done this to the team, kind of thing,
Yeah. So I mean, what was in the box? There's a couple of players that look like they're more sort of blocker type players, is there? And that's sort of mentioned. And then, are we still thinking there's 4 blitzers in there, or are we thinking there's just the 2 blitzers in there?
To be honest with you, I've when the Norse team got released, I said to myself, right, I'm just going to wait and see what's actually going on here, because I think that the speculation that one sees online is it's so easy. I mean, it's great if you want to be a content person, if you want to generate loads of content, then rumors are fantastic for that. But from my perspective, I'll just wait until they actually produce the roster and I can see it, and then I'll make some judgments then, and maybe we will cover that because it's going to be interesting because we already know that Euro Bowl, for example, will be sticking to the old Amazon team, so the team as we know it. So even if Amazons were to drop next weekend or the weekend after or the weekend after that, whenever you listen to this podcast, if Amazons were to drop prior to Euro Bowl, we will still be using the Team of Legend rules for Euro Bowl. So at this point in time, for a lot of people, maybe some people that listen to the show, the Amazons will be something to try after Euro Bowl.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, the tournament that I've got coming up in a couple of weeks, even if they drop tomorrow, they're obviously not going to be relevant for that. Maybe the one in November, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, as I said in the last episode, I don't really mind what they do as long, really, as I like the flavour of them having the fairly universal dodge, and I don't see an issue with that because we have a couple of teams that have fairly universal block, so I don't see an issue with that. The stars look interesting. There's one star player that seems to be able to effectively turn off an opposing player for the following turn, which is interesting. That that's going to mean that you're going to have to score on 7, I suppose, because you won't want to risk your player getting 2+ and then not being able to activate next turn, and so you lose the chance to score on turn 8, for example. So it'd be interesting to see how it's all costed and you can look at this stuff, and until you know how much the points are going to be, and and all that kind of stuff, it's hard to really know
Exactly. I mean, I think at the end of the day, though, I'm happy to see Games Workshop still supporting the game, producing some lovely looking minis, and yeah, anything that
I think they've done a cracking job, haven't they, with the miniatures?
Yeah, I think they're looking good. I think the Norse and the Amazons are both been looking very nice, very nice. I've got a Norse team already and an Amazon team already. I won't be getting them myself, but for someone wanting to come into the game, it's brilliant to see them just producing content, because that's what's going to keep the game going. Not guys like us sitting here chatting away on a podcast about niche areas of the game.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what drives the game, what gets them to continue making the game, is your kind of beer and pretzels kind of leagues where people use a team for a season and swap to another team, and they use the stars and they use the different mercenaries, and they're consuming content, and they're people like us that are probably being a bit more sort of focused on tournament play and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
we buy a bit, but probably not enough to keep it going completely.
No, for sure. And just mentioning briefly on tabletop leagues, I've still played no game in the tabletop league. No other game has been played since that, so I'm still winning my tabletop league. Glorious. Right.
Glorious.
Well, that's that one. Yeah.
On that score, I will give a shout out then to Speeding Bullet, who we both know.
Oh, very well.
Who triumphed the other day in the finals of the Shropshire Blood Bowl League to become champion. Temporarily eluding me what he won the league with. I had to drop out of the league without playing a game because real life just got in the way of me playing. But yeah, he's the second person to have won it twice. So well done, Speeding Bullet.
Congratulations, Speeding Bullet. There we go. Right, shall we get on to some actual online NAF style Blood Bowl?
NAF style Blood Bowl, yes.
Right, I'm going to start off then with the new Super League that you've been running.
Oh yes.
Because
but not playing it.
Yeah, because I can cover my Super League very quickly. Okay, I've had two games. Okay, oh, so hang on.
Right.
Let's rephrase that. There've been 2 rounds of Super League.
Yes.
Okay, I've taken Chaos Dwarves. I was scheduled to play against Sick as Eggs, and then Triple Skull. Press the wrong button, and I got given the worst possible matchup with Dragonborn's Lizards versus my Chorfs.
Yes.
The game started optimistically. We had a little exchange at the beginning, lovely. Then Dragonborn removed a Chorf. I appoed it. Then Dragonborn removed another Chorf, and then removed another Chorf. And then I had no way of stopping him score. And then I tried my best to score. I made it work. Dragonborn played really well, and then just bullied me with his lizards in a grossly unfair matchup. I'm going to be writing to the league admins. having a redraw and then giving me the worst possible matchup was just completely unfair. But absolute credit to Dragonborn. Played the game exactly how he needed to. Got the 2-0 win. It was a 1-0 locked in, and he went for not an insane play, but there was the 2-0 there, and he got the 2-0. So yeah, fully deserved. And I thought Dragonborn played really well, because it is easy in those games to when you've got that advantage to let it slip away. Sometimes to make an error, to give someone a 4+ or something to get away, and Dragonborn didn't really give me much chances there. So no, well played, Dragonborn.
It's a shockingly difficult matchup for Chaos Dwarfs in that style.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's when you bring 4 guard to the table and you still can't really fight versus the lizards. And because they can just generate the 2D blocks everywhere, and some people might be thinking, but the Chaos Dwarfs have tackle and the Skinks have dodge. That's useful. Well, the Skinks are never going to go anywhere near the Chaos Dwarfs because they'll just run away. And it was.
I remember a game at my first NAF Championships before I even really understood the different matchups. And I played it. I think my second game was against a Chaos Dwarf player with lizards, and we ended up in this situation where everything was like diagonally tagged, which meant he just couldn't even use the guard because everything was on a sort of diagonal. And I think I ran out like with a 3-0. I won 3-0 in the end, and it was so. It ended up just being so kind of difficult for him that at one point I had a chance to sack his ball carrier or surf his bull, and I surfed the bull instead because I couldn't see how we could protect the ball carrier for the next turn. It was just like, this is.
It's mad. It's mad.
It's horrendous. It's a really difficult matchup for Chaos. Out of interest, what have you taken? What's your roster?
Let me see.
5 or 6
I tell you the reason why it doesn't leap to my mind immediately is because I'll talk about match day 2. Unfortunately, my opponent could only play on days that I'd either scheduled a match on already or couldn't attend through real life. And then unfortunately they went away on holiday, and I got awarded an admin win. Which although that's nice, for the competitive side in someone, lovely, admin win, great, but really I want to be playing the matches. That's what these leagues are for. It's not about of course if you're winning that's great, but I also just want to be playing some Blood Bowl, and to not have a game for a few weeks with this team now, it's just a bit of a shame really. So real life again. This is what happens. People are allowed to.
Did you not get a game in round 3?
No. I've got round 3 scheduled tomorrow.
Oh, so are we not on round 4 now? I'm very confused.
No, we're on round 3. I'm playing tomorrow. Oh dear.
You're playing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair play. What you got tomorrow then?
I'm versus Dark Elves. My roster is 2 Block Bulls, 6 Chorfs, 4 with guard, Hobgoblins to 13, 3 rerolls, an Apo, and a coach.
Oh, and you have Rippersley tomorrow.
Yes, yeah, Rippersley's Dark Elves.
Yeah, who I believe is on Team France for Euro Bowl.
Wonderful.
Yeah. That'll be good.
Yeah, that'll be great fun. Yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to that one. So that'll be nice fun. So yeah, so that's Super League kind of wrapped up quite quickly because as I say, I got mullered in game 1 and then didn't get a chance to play game 2. But yet I'm still 1-0-1. So that's nice. That's nice. And as we're about to see from our Thrud roundup, 1-0-1 is pretty good for me at the moment. So shall we move on to Thrud then? Because this is kind of like our. There's some NAF live events often run on Fumble, and the Thrud guys have obviously Thrud has just occurred. That's where we are in the timeline of things. Thrud was last weekend, the actual Thrud ball, but they did a NAF Road to Thrud, Road to Thrud on Fumble, which used the Thrud rule set and was kind of like a 4-week tournament leading up until the week of Thrud. So the final match day was the weekend before Thrud, and then Thrud was there. So it was the like a bit like the Road to UKTC. I quite like these things. Road to NAF, Road to UKTC. You know, maybe we should look at doing something in the future. Road to somewhere. So
Road to nowhere, maybe.
Road to nowhere. Yep. So we both took part in Thrud. So given the fact that I've talked about my games, do you want to do your roster? You know, talk about what team you took, and then we'll go your games and your game one, then my game one, etc. And we'll just put it along like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, right, so Thrud, I mean, for those that haven't partaken on Fumble for an AF tournament before, the way that they run it, as you said, so this one was over 4 weeks, so it's 4 games. And it's a Swiss tournament, and it uses the same rules for Thrud, which effectively gives you this one pot of money from which to buy both your team and your skills.
Yeah, exactly. And you can there's different tiers in terms of the amount of money you're given. So and it's an interesting way of doing things. We actually talked about this just in discussion the other day, didn't we? In a chat that we were having about a different tournament, and I normally don't enjoy these kind of tournaments in terms of the build aspect. I prefer being given a set amount of money to build the team, and then you get a skills pack on top. But I can also see the appeal of doing it this way round, into giving people a pot of money depending on the tier, because then it does encourage some maybe races that we see less of to be brought to the forefront, and it also slightly neutralizes for example, what were the big four before, as it were, being brought in abundance almost.
Yeah. No, I think it gives you some interesting choices, and it makes things like, whether or not you want to take leader or whether you want to take a reroll, that kind of thing. In this rule set of the tiers were also there were some limitations on the skills depending on what tier you were. I can't remember, you could only take 3 or 4 of anyone's skill as well, couldn't you? Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. There's a few extra rules in there just to it adds a certain something to the rule set, And I think we've touched on it before about different tournaments and stuff, and I think that it's great that we can still have this. You can have a tournament where you've got stars, you've got a tournament where you've got no stars, you've got a tournament that's everyone gets the same money and the same skill pack to choose from, or you've got loads and loads of tiers, or or you've only got the 3 that Games Workshop have got. It's great that we've got so much diversity, because it means that if you want to play, as many different versions, for want of a better word, of Blood Bowl, then you can attend all these wacky, different rule sets and do, one thing one weekend and one thing the next weekend. Or you can pick and choose the rule sets that you enjoy, or those that favour the races that you enjoy.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? It's about the choice. It's about having that ability to choose these things.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea of having a one pot of money. I think it's interesting, the choices it gives you. I think the other thing to note about this one is obviously they've got their own custom build star players as well.
Oh yes, yeah.
They've decided that the star players that are kind of Games Workshop star players are not ones that they wish to use for whatever reason, and they've decided to custom build some. And there's a ball and chain guy, and there's a stronger guy, and there's different players. Arguably, they all are a little more balanced than the Games Workshop.
I've listened to the Squad Chaos a lot. Shout out to the Squad Chaos crew and the Squad Chaos podcast. Yeah. If you're not listening, do listen. We're both fans of that whole community. But I think that they're, the logic behind it, I know that their reasoning behind why they brought in, half a dozen stars, and it's those stars that the stunty teams require to work, to make them competitive. So you're not bringing Griff, but you do need a ball and chain for the goblins, or you do need a bomber, or you do need a kind of semi-big guy of some sort. It's like, you need that third tree on a tree, for the halflings, where it's not so overpowered in the way that we're seeing Griff or Hackflem, but they are still bringing that extra something that just makes the stunty teams not playable, but it brings them closer to the level of the other teams, And I think out of the whole rule set, when I play another Thrud tournament, I think I will go down that stunty road just to see, because I think I only played versus one stunty team in Thrud, and the star player unfortunately didn't have that much of an impact in that one. But I could see I can see the logic behind it, and it's very well thought out from the guys at Thrud. That's something that I think they've really nailed, personally.
Yeah, and from my perspective, when team building, I decided to take Chorfs because, being honest, I could see an option that if I could get a positive record, that I could put myself, and there's not that many players on the list, but I could put myself top of the Wells online rankings for Chorfs.
I see.
Break the 160 barrier with them. Had a lot of games in Thunball tournaments with Chorfs, and I usually end up with very drawish records. So it's taken a lot of games to get get the.
Well, welcome to the Blood Bowl Diaries, guys, the most competitive podcast. As the Fear looks to top the online Wales ranking list with Chorfs, competing against himself and probably two other people. So
that's exactly correct.
Yeah. So listen up, guys. Listen up, guys. We join us later as we find out how Fear has got on. So what was your build then? What was your build? Did you go anything wacky, or was it all just guard? I know you.
No. I mean, look, you've heard me talk about Chorf a bit in previous episodes, and the difference between a build with Hackflem and a build without Hackflem, right? And I mean, obviously Hackflem's not available in this one, but what was available was what I think is a goblin, who it's got the same stats as a goblin, but also with the addition of disturbing presence and dirty player, and was a cheap 65k as a star player, and didn't come with loner. Interesting.
Oh wow! Okay, that's interesting. So you've got a fouling option, but you've also got something that you can fall back on if you've lost some more hobgoblins.
Well, to be honest, I never looked at it as a fouling option. I just looked at it as that's my ball carrier, because
he's interesting
and dodge, and so there we go. So I picked an 11-player Chorf roster, which was 6 blockers, 3 of whom had guard, 1 of whom had mighty blow.
Of course, because you're limited by the number of skills. Otherwise, that would have been a guard in there. Yep.
Wow, I have found with Chorfs that it is nice to have that 1 mighty blow, just because you do like a removal or 2 just to help. So I don't know, but anyway,
you've changed, man. You've changed.
I've changed. What's happened to me?
What is this? It's either a G or a B on the Chorf team. It's G for guard, B for block. That's all you need. What is this?
And then I took two ball centaurs, both with block.
Okay, sensible. Yep.
And then I took 3 hobgoblins, and I had 3 rerolls, and I had this 65k goblin star player.
Nice, and no Apo, but you didn't really favour the Apo, even in the old rules on Chorfs. You didn't really favour the Apo, did you?
I don't mind it. I just think, I think in a straight up 1150, where you then have a separate skills part of say 6 skills, I think you are pretty much 12 players, 3 rerolls and an Apo. I think for Chorfs, I think that's that just you can build that. In this particular instance, because of the thick skull, sort of lowering the number of KOs you get, and because then really on injuries it's kind of very hit or miss whether it works now. It's worse than 50-50, isn't it? Yeah, I thought no Apo for me. And 12 players, it should be all right.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Well, we'll find out, I suppose. But
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Well, so I went a completely different route, and I looked at the rule set, and I foolishly I'd watched at the previous tournament, which we discussed, the last tabletop tournament I went to, the pitch invasion one where I took the Amazons. Granota was there with a Slan team. And he'd taken 5 rerolls, and Granota is a very happy chappy anyway. But the maniacal laugh that Granota let out every time he told anyone that he had a 5 rerolls on his Slan team, and he was prepared to burn all 5 rerolls if needed. Got me thinking about this roster, and Granota had gone no Apo, 5 rerolls, let's go, this kind of thing, and I thought to myself, yeah, Hellboy, you can be like Granota, yeah, he does well with these teams. So I did 5 rerolls, no Apo, submitted my team roster, got told very politely that I'd included an additional price that I shouldn't have done, and I could only have 4 rerolls. So I submitted a 4 reroll, 12 player, no Apo, Slan team. With 2 block blitzers, 3 catchers, 2 with dodge, 1 with guard. That key guard for
Nice.
the assist on the sack, and 2 wrestle linemen. And boy, oh boy, I went in with such high hopes. I thought to myself, if Granota can do it, you can do it. Let's bring it home. And I wasn't chasing anything like any number 1 spot on an online ranking list, and I'm quite glad that I didn't set myself that goal, because as we'll soon hear, it was a disaster. So,
Oh, no.
well,
Did you take a Crocs? Did you take the Crocs?
no.
No Crocs.
No Crocs.
No Crocs.
No.
Okay.
No, it's all in. It's all or nothing.
All
Get
in,
that
baby.
get that sack, 2 turn 'em, boom, sack 'em again, boom, 2-0. Win the game, 3-1 in at the end of the game, because you scored 3 times before they could even score once. It's go. Most touchdown award, here we come. It's all in. Very, very different from my usual style of play, which, as you know, can be. I'm the kind of guy that enjoys a 1-0 win. That's the. I don't even enjoy a 2-1. I like a 1-0 win. I really think I should commit more to Tomb Kings in the future. Go down the Tomb Kings route of it's either 1-1 or 1-0. I should.
Yes.
I might investigate that. Maybe next year. Go down the Tomb Kings road.
Yeah.
So right, should we get on to your game one then for Thrud, because we should get going with some actual game discussion.
Yeah. So I played against somebody, a chap called Eiravel or Eiravel, with some roller dwarfs.
Oh, lovely.
Fairly simply, Chorfs should have an advantage in that matchup against dwarfs. It's just about favours them, I think, percentage-wise. The roller makes it difficult, but he didn't have a bribe, I don't think. So it was just a case about getting it off the pitch, really. And we trundled down the pitch and we scored fairly early, and difficult for him to short drive it, and that was sort of ended by a misclick, sadly for him.
That's a shame, and that's something I think we should
tried to dodge a long beard.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing which I do feel. I mean, we've seen it. I can mention. I happened to watch Magnus Carlsen, one of the great chess player at the moment, the young chess player.
Yeah.
Even he made misclicks online playing chess.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Even the best players in the world, in Blood Bowl, in chess, in all these other games where you can play on both sides. I'm sure you see it in many other games as well. Misclicks happen online, and they just don't happen as frequently. You can make misplays on tabletop, but there is no. I'm just going to move that guy there, because then your opponent will say, okay, well that's a 6+ dodge there, and you'll go, whoops, missed that, sorry, and move it back, and no one's going to turn around and go, no, you've got to roll that. It's not.
That's it. Yeah. And then And then on his drive, I think he fouled the pickup really deep, and he left his runner kind of a bit by himself. So we pushed the ball through, and we put some pressure on, and he made some decent progress actually down there. I suppose what would be my right hand side if I was sitting behind the board, and we got to the point where he needed a 2 dice block to when it was be a blitz with his blitzer that would then allow the blitzer to run up and tag my ball, and then his runner would be in range, and really it's whether or not I can hit a 4+ dodge with the ball to go and sack him, sort of thing.
Nice.
And the block came out of double skull. His blitzer went down, so then it was easy for my ball to sack his runner, and then the goblin picked the ball up and ran off, and it was 2-0.
Nice.
And it was just difficult for him, really. It's a hard matchup, of course, particularly once the roller's gone. Because we've kind of got the same amount of guard.
And you invest.
I've got the Bulls.
Yeah, exactly. You've got the Bulls, and you invest so much financial, in terms of the team building finance into the roller that you really need to win the toss and grind for 8 turns and do some damage to your team. And, with no Apo, they need to be looking for those, can we blitz something every turn? Can we foul something from turn 6 onwards? You really want to be doing that damage with the roller. And if you just don't get the chance to...
Yeah. And I think the thing with the roller is, it can be hellishly effective fouling people. But obviously... dwarfs are probably the team, with the being built thick skull and the high armor anyway. They're the team that are most protected against that tactic. And also, you can kind of stop it by just basing the roller, because then it's got a block. Then it blocks rather than fouls you. Then it's not moving. So then eventually it's kind of out of the action. Yeah, just hitting one chuff without a skill on it. So there are ways to manage it, but once it's gone, you just overpower. You're just stronger. Effectively, chuffs are stronger and more responsive. And if you are both stronger and more responsive than your opponent, you should win.
It's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah.
You should win. Yeah.
Nice. So a winning game one for you. Fantastic.
Yeah, I was happy.
Yeah, very good. Right, so my round one was versus someone called Sand Dune.
So I played Sand Dune in the last tournament on the Fun Ball in game one, and regular listeners will remember that his elves beat my Norse 4-1, I think it was, wasn't it? Absolute black and blue.
Absolute pastings. The scoreline may be not reflective of the actual game itself, but the scoreline is what matters. And,
Well, yeah, so did you do better?
Somewhat actually. Yes. In some ways I did better than you, yes.
Good.
So Sanjuna brought humans. There was some guard, there was a tackle, there was a block ogre. Very low number of players, 11 men, an Apo, 3 rerolls. Okay? So I'm looking at that, and although I've got no firepower on the team, I'm like, okay, if I can chip something, maybe there's a chance, And I also went into the game going, right, let's be nice and aggressive. Let's you've got 4 rerolls. Let's throw everything at it. And so turn 1, there was a sack on the ball. So he's picked the ball up, and turn 1, I've got a sack on the ball. Okay.
Wow.
Because the kick was quite short, and it was like, okay, right in my zone. Right, let's go for this. So I set it all up. I move around. Boom. The guard catcher jumps in. Yep, make that great. Go for the blitz. Yep, get the jump in. Skull on the 1D. Reroll skull. And then the team imploded.
Oh.
So it's
a load of blocks.
Yeah. He took a load of blocks. Guard catcher, boom, gone off the pitch. This player fouled, boom, gone off the pitch. That player KO'd, boom, off the pitch. It was literally the most impressive steamroll I've seen in a game in a long time. However, However,
Yeah.
hold on. Okay, hold on. There's still a little twist in the tale. So Sanjune's got maybe I'm thinking Sanjune maybe had 10 players to 2 or 3, approaching kind of like turn 6, turn 7, right? It's maybe 10v3, okay?
Oof.
And I'm throwing red dice. I'm like, right, kitchen sink. Yep, right, okay, kitchen sink didn't work. Let's get the appliances out. Let's throw all that out. Okay, the cabinets, let's go. Where's the bathtub? I'm going for it, right? I'm going for this. And eventually, the uphill works with a both down because the ball carrier doesn't have block. Sanjune chooses the both down rather than the pow. And the ball pops free. It bobbles around a bit, hits the deck. Sanjune then on turn 8 takes the blocks that are available to try and really, hammer home the numbers advantage, and then fails the 3+ pickup with reroll to score.
Ooh.
So with 2 players on the pitch, I've held him at 0-0.
Wow.
And that, now, absolute credit to Sanjune there. The only thing that I think could have been done slightly differently, as I touched on briefly earlier when I said about Dragonborn, when you got the advantage, it's easy to leave these plays on. Now, one can stand there and argue and say, right, well, is 2 dice uphill, is that really the worst thing that you could do? Well, no, it's not the worst thing you could do. But I think that there was only ever one. There was like no double screen to leap, to force a dodge and then a leap. Do you know what I mean? Where there was no. It was always just okay. Make the jump and then you got the uphill. There was no 4+ dodge. Then we have to leap and then we get the uphill. There wasn't those additional dice rolls to make. So it was always just a 3 and then uphill. 3+ jump and then uphill.
Right. Okay.
And so, so thinking about it from that perspective, because, it's very easy to stand there and say, oh, Hellboy, wow, you got so lucky with the red dice. And yes, I did, and I was throwing everything at it. But it's remembering at moments like that when you're in such control of a game that you actually need to lock in that win. It's like a Formula 1 driver going around the track and they've got no one behind them. They're leading with X number of seconds. They can't be caught. But you've still got to get to the end of the race. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
However, the game didn't get much better than that, unfortunately. We started the second half 11 versus 7, and I pretty much lost a player return. And Sanjune quite very, very fairly won 1-0, as I had no team really left. So
nice.
I only lost 1-0 to Sanjune. So that's Hellboy 1. That's Hellboy 1, Fear 0 in the versus Fear. Sorry, there's Hellboy 1, Fear 0 in the versus Sanjune competition that we've got going on the podcast. So I lost less badly than you did.
Yeah, well done, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll take that. That's a little victory there. That's a mini victory there. Yeah.
I'm proud of you. Very proud of you.
Thank you. Right, on to your game 2 then. How was your game 2?
I played against a chap called JB.
Oh yes.
And JB's High Elves. JB plays with us in TSD.
Yes.
Elves, I think it was a fairly standard sort of 12-player roster. 3 catchers and a thrower and, all the usual gubbins. This one was interesting because it was played in the, is it the snow? Which is the one that makes Go For It's 3+.
That's the snow.
No?
Yeah,
Rain?
That's the snow. That's the snow. No. Rain is... How long have you played the game for, Fear? I'm pretty sure that the one thing that GW haven't changed is these weather tables. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. You're chasing number 1 Welsh online Chorf player and you don't know that it's snow that makes the GFIs, or rushes as they're called now, the 3+.
Sorry. Rushes 3+. Yeah, well, I said... I was just checking. You've got a younger brain than mine.
That's true. Anyway, carry on. So you're playing in the snow, High Elves versus Chorfs. Okay.
Yeah, he's receiving again. I mean, interesting. He's got a sneaky get dirty player, so that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Too worried. I'm not too worried about it being short. So, on his turn one, he picks the ball up and he leaves the very tempting. I can hit his thrower with my ball if I'm willing to take on 3 rushes.
Oh, 3 pluses. Oh.
Which, I do.
Oh.
Because it's why the heck not?
Oh, wow.
So we take it on and we sack the ball. It doesn't land in the tackle zone, sadly. He then sort of jokes with me that he left it deliberately so that he can
Oh, yes.
kick the ball, which he does. And we end up in a bit of a scrap around his sort of touchdown line. I'm not, at no point am I ever really, do I have a chance to, I think I might have, not sure that I ever really have a chance to pick the ball up. But, we're just making it difficult. We're making it difficult. And then eventually he kind of gets hold of it and, and breaks away to my left-hand side. And it's all sort of spread out now. And as much as he's got the movement advantage, and this is effectively a sort of Dakar, I suppose, that it's kind of, a withdrawn offense, effectively, is what it's turned into. I've kind of got complete position. If you think about it like chess, I've got the kind of complete position in the middle of the board. So he kind of goes very strongly to my left, and he moves up, and then I've kind of got this. I've got a shot on the ball, but it's kind of how I go about it. There isn't because his catch with the ball is stood on the next to the sideline. Okay. About my half of the field on the left-hand side. He's then got another player who is stood one square in from that. So if I'm willing to take on double rushes with a chorf
in the snow,
yes, and then a dodge with a hobgoblin, and then double rushes.
So 5 3 pluses.
I then create a box. 4 players all stood next to each other. In a square.
Yes, yeah. For the lovely
with
chain.
Another 3 plus. Yeah, with another 3 plus for another hobgoblin, another dodge. I then can hit his supporting player and use that to push his ball carrier into touch.
Okay, so you're looking for 6 3 plus actions, and then with a 2 dice block, looking for a 3 plus.
Yeah.
So you're needing 7 3 pluses in a row.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Did you do it?
No.
Oh.
What we did instead.
Okay.
Was we did no go for it, or maybe we did one go for it with the chorf to tag the supporting player, and then we 3 plus dodged with the first hobgoblin, and 1 dice splits the ball carrier.
Ah, okay, interesting. And did it work?
Yeah, it did, and it was KO'd. And I was able to dodge the other hobgoblin and get it stood next to the ball, but the ball was still in the blitzer, his supporting player, the blitzer's tackle zone, so I didn't know whether to try and pick it up on a 4 and rip sort of some kind of horrible bobble, because it's now in the of my chorf and this hobgoblin. He's got a catcher that's kind of in scoring range still, sort of towards the middle of the pitch. I'll put a chorf next to that. I move this goblin star player back, and I sort of position it kind of with a view to maybe he might be able to sort of recover the ball and make some kind of half cage in the middle of the pitch. And I leave it 4 squares away from his catcher.
Okay.
It's got disturbing presence. I should have left it.
Oh, 3 squares.
Yeah, so what he then does is he 2 plus dodges away from tackle, picks the ball up on a 3 plus with the splitzer, 2 plus dodge away from tackle. Sorry. First of all, there's a 1 dice splits to move my hobgoblin off the ball.
Okay.
There's 2 plus dodge away from tackle, 3 plus pick up, 2 plus dodge away from tackle, runs round, hands the ball off to his catcher in a tackle zone. who then dodges away from tackle to score the touchdown and be 1-0. He rolled a 3, catch the ball, so the disturbing presence would have at least made him re-roll it.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Because he didn't need a 4 because the tackle's only disturbing presence. So maybe something to think about. My offense, I then have a short drive. I think I've got 3 turns to score back. This is what the Goblin's for. So we get the Goblin, we sit the Goblin behind our line of scrimmage, we batter him a bit, we pick the ball up with the Hobgoblin. We're 6 squares away from the Goblin, so we're ready to roll. My turn to have made a slight error, and where I place my ball carrying piece, he's able with a double GFI to go and stand a catcher right in front of and tagging my my Hobgoblin with the ball.
Yep.
So instead of going forward 6 squares and handing off, he has to dodge backwards and then double GFI to hand the ball off.
Oh dear.
If I fail the dodge, he's probably just picking the ball up and going in for 2-0.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. As it is, past the dodge, past the GFIs, hand off to the Goblin. Yeah, a bit lucky powering a blitzer with a ball centaur, knock something else over, and I'm able to run a load of players forward and basically make a bit of a Wenger bus, within 6 squares of his end zone. He fails something, I don't even have to do anything else. The Goblin just trots it in for 1-1 at the half.
Lovely, well done. Look, maybe some might say a little bit lucky in terms of if you've made you've made a misplay. You've made a misplay and you haven't been punished for it. But it's we always promote on this one. It's about looking at those moments. It's about looking at because we can okay, I'm reeling off the fact if you want to surf that thing, it's 7 3+, etc. But it's about where do these things happen, and the opponent recognised that you'd made a mistake positionally and made it harder for you. Took it from what would have been maybe a 3+ at worst into 3 3+s to do the same action. Because of an error that you made. So that's this is nice. This is where we try and discuss on the podcast. So that's really good.
Look, if I'd left a go for it on the table, then he couldn't have based me, which would have meant yes, I'd have had to make 2 go for it, but I wouldn't have had to do the dodge first.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm just we've got away with it. I'm not sure if the snow had stopped by then. So I'm not sure if the go for it's were 2+ as well, or whether they were 3+. But anyway. So I've got my drive, nice kind of slightly turtleish, kind of just cramming a load of guard and strength into his elves and forcing them backwards. And elves are dying, and we get to turn 8, and he's got 6 elves. And, I have been very conscious of not allowing him anything at all. So I am pretty deep in his half of the field, towards the right-hand side, and the only dodges he would have had into my cage on turn 7 would have been a 6. Would have been a 6 up.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Nice.
And then he's only got 6 players, so he's double screened right in front of me. Boom, 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 and then slightly wider to my left as I'm looking at it. There's a sort of there's one player pushed slightly forward, one player pushed slightly back. To just kind of stop me going sideways too easily, but sort of maintain the screen. And really, all we need to do is run up with my ball centaur, which I do. 2 dice block one of the pieces, push it out the way, and then my Goblin will need a 3+. And with his inbuilt dodge reroll, I've also got 2 team rerolls, and I win 2-1.
Nice.
I run up, roll the dice, on fumble. See I've got a push, that's fine. Select the push. Go to look at where I'm going to push the guy to, and realise that I have made an error.
Oh no, you've blitzed from the wrong square.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Oh no.
It's made even funnier by the fact that I've just accepted them because I had the reroll. I could have rerolled it looking for a pal. Yeah. And what I had
dear.
to do was I had to tag his player that's furthest forward so that I could blitz with the centaur from next to that player, and that would have given me a push angle. So now I need 2 3+s, but I've got 2 rerolls and
inbuilt dodge, and the guy's got no loner on him, so you got good odds on that one.
I've turned an 89% touchdown into an 80% touchdown, effectively. I hit the 3+ on the first dodge. I hit a 2 and a 1 on the second dodge.
Oh man, so really, you've only got yourself to blame.
Oh yeah, complete cock up.
Oh God! Oh, so you've snatched a draw from the jaws of victory.
Oh, yes, by completely. And do you know what? What's frustrating about it is that moment, right? Because it's what you were talking about. I played, I think, against a good player, some very good Blood Bowl, and I've forced the quick score. I've then scored back fairly rapidly, albeit with a slight error, but everything else about that drive was worked, and it's 1-1. And then he's really had no shot at anything through the second half. Yeah. And okay, he's had some play in the pit, but he has come and had a go, and he's really just had no shot to do anything. And it's probably in that moment when it's like, right, okay, I just need this blitz. I've not even really thought about it, and I've just moved the player, click, 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 and interesting.
It's that autopilot moment. You find it on the same at tabletop. It's just that extra 20 seconds just to breathe and go, okay, let's double check the line. Yep, that's still the best play. I want to go from that square. Oh, hang on a minute. If I go from that square, I'm going to push him in the wrong bit. I have to go from that one. Right, I've got to cancel that assist. And you just take that extra moment just to pause rather than going, oh yeah, there's a free 2 dice. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom. Push it. Yeah, fine. Oh no. And suddenly you find yourself in that situation. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. How about yourself, mate? How was game 2?
Game 2. Game 2, we met. You messaged me when you'd seen the draw for game 2, and you said, "Mate, you've got halflings. Could be a tough matchup for Slan." And I just was thinking to myself, "Brilliant! This is going to be my shining glory. I'm going to have a great game here." So I was playing against Doc Miniatures halflings. He brought Belly Smalls, the puggy kind of replacement. For the team, and then trees have got a bit, but with a rule set where you can choose to put money into team building or skills, it does give the stunties a chance, because they don't suddenly go, oh great, well I've got to fit 10 primary skills on my team because I've got the same it's 1150 TV building, but then I get 12 primary skills or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like there's no the balancing can happen, because you can just get the chef, and you can get all the extra bits that you want with kind of no problem. You don't even have to. You can just do that, because you would always, every day, you would rather have the Halfling Master Chef over X number of primary skills. And so if you're able to get a deep bench, massive bench, massive, all the toys you want with it, let's go. So Doc Miniature and I started the game, and same as game 1, I looked at the pitch and I went, well, I'm going to sack your ball. And because they're halflings, they're all strength 2, apart from your Belly Smalls guy. But Belly Smalls wasn't holding the ball, so I sacked the ball. I picked it off, I screened off, I went 1-0 on his drive almost immediately. And then we kicked off again, and I went, oh, I'm going to sack the ball. And I jumped in, and I sacked the ball, and I picked the ball up, and I screened off, and I ran it in for 2. So I'm 2-0 up on his drive. And that was how I'd envisaged the whole tournament going. I was channeling my inner Granota there. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, oh, I can see why he plays this team. I was like, nothing's failing. This is great. Oh, it's amazing. And I was looking at this going, okay, maybe we should really push ourselves to like a 6-0 here. Let's go. But
carried away.
But I started to lose players. And Doc Miniature was sticking in it, and I was starting to lose some players, and I decided that I was going to go for quite a quick score, just to get that kind of 3-0 cushion, and just be right. Let's just get it tucked out of the way, and let's get it done. And so I get the 3-0. But I get the feeling all of a sudden that Doc Miniature's there to fight. Doc. He's not going to give in. And a quick touchdown is scored back, and my players aren't coming back. The KOs aren't coming back. I've not actually got a massive amount of a team left, and I'm looking at it. I'm doing the maths, and I'm thinking to myself, right, I'm probably just going to have to turtle in the corner from these flings in the hope that they don't turn me over. And then turn me over again, and we end up drawing this game 3-3 from a one position. So in that rather competitive but humorous manner, I kind of burned some turns doing nothing, and I held out for the 3-1 win. It was one of those games where really, when you think about what Slan bring to the table, a strength 3 player versus a strength 2 player. But the strength 3 player just needs a 3+ to sack you anywhere. And, and I've got 2 block blitzers and I've got 2 wrestle linemen. So I've got 4 players that can just sack the ball whenever I want, basically. I'm 89% away from sacking the ball. For getting a chance to sack the ball every single turn. It's awful. That is a horrible, horrible matchup. And credit to Doc Miniature, we had some good chat while we were playing and stuff, and it was a lovely game. But yeah, it was just it went exactly how I'd hoped, basically. And I was very happy. Excellent. I was very happy. I was now 1-0-1. And it was just I just kept rolling pows. It was everything went my way. It was like, well, okay, great, I can sack your ball. Oh, look, I rolled a pow. Oh, look, you're dead. Belly Smalls barely had an impact in the game because I powed the star so early. And he just left the pitch. And it's just like, yeah, it was fun. Game. It was fun. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I mean, and credit to Doc Miniature, stuck in it and made me think, hang on a minute, I'm going to have to turtle here. I can't risk going for the 4-1. Because I might lose, I might draw the game here, and a drawn game from that position would be a loss. So, So although I'd say there's not really much to say about it, but it was it was a thoroughly enjoyable game, and cheers for Doc Miniature for being such a good sport. So yeah, don't take flings versus slam, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the stunty teams are particularly vulnerable to that, and
it's the same way as the old wood elves versus old lizardmen. It was harsh because the lizards just don't have. You can have a blodge, Shawhan's skink, and you still are going to get sacked by the tackle war dancer. That's just what used to happen, wasn't it? So Slan.
I remember a game. Again at NAFC against Gritter.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Who won Water Bowl that we went to, and who's a 200+ ranked Lizardman coach himself. But I was using lizards, and he had wood elves. And towards the end of the first half, I had the ball off him. I sacked his war dancer or whatever. And I was running off with a ball in my skink, and it looked like Goodnight Vienna, but War Dancer just came piling back in, strip balled me. He got the ball, threw it for the score. So he went 1.5, and then the second half, I just didn't matter what I did. I was trying screens, I was trying Wenger buses, I was trying extended Wenger buses. You know what I mean? Like you just can't protect against. You just couldn't protect against it, and it's the same with this. I guess that's the USP of the Slam, though, isn't it? They're the one team that can just present that horrendous risk to and to lizards.
Yeah, exactly. And as we've seen, both Purple Goo and Core do, in the hands of a competent coach, and Granota himself, as well, in the hands of a competent coach who's willing to throw all in. and play in a very aggressive style, or or maybe not so aggressive style, but just pick the right moment, they can be absolutely lethal against any team. Right. So on to your game 3 then.
Yes, game 3. I played against another one of our TSD contemporaries, a chap who I think is on the. Well, I don't know if it's been announced. I need to double check in a minute, but who will be on Team Greece for Eurobowl? Radipus, something like that. And he was using Skaven, which is always interesting. The piece to note would be the wrestle strip ball gutter runner.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Which was worrying me. Also got a rat ogre. Yeah, this was an interesting one, really. I mean, I think he chose to receive. He came out. He went towards my right hand side. He moved back towards my left hand side, still behind, on his own half of the field. At one point, he had got himself 2 removals ahead.
Wow. Okay.
With 2 of my players, so I was 2 players down. And I think I said to him something like, 2 players down against Skaven, tongue in cheek, but the drive's basically over. And then immediately removed 2 of his players.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful.
The rat ogre,
the clever,
the rat ogre, and
clever.
The chat, drives back on now, and he was just like laughing about it. So, I gave him a bit of an option as he went towards my left hand side. I presented him with a Chorf that he could blitz and move forward a bit, or I hung my Goblin out to dry 3 squares behind the Chorf. They could run round the Chorf, the Chorf's 2 squares away from the sideline. Okay. The basis that if they chose to hit the Goblin, there was a chance that they were sort of slightly overextended. He chose to hit the Goblin. It seemed to have come up trumps for him because he cased it, which was a bit annoying. But it did hang him out to dry a bit, and a failed dodge away from tackle with a gutter runner left me with a shot on the ball.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I got my shot on the ball, and I was able to recover it. And now, a fair amount of his fast stuff is now kind of the wrong side of me. And basically, we moseyed up the pitch. I think without really, he might have had one. He might have managed to get that crazy gutter runner in one time and strip, but not be able to recover. But on turn 8, I need a GFI to go 1-0 on his drive. And I hit the obviously hit the 1. So
oh God.
And what's more frustrating than that, I suppose, is the way that the injuries have fallen and stuff coming back. I actually start the second half. I start my drive down 2 players.
Oh wow. Okay.
And he's got the rat ogre back as well because it was only KO'd. And so you kind of know what's going to happen here, which is he's just going to base everything at some point, and I'm going to struggle to keep cage coherency, and then this crazy gutter runner is going to come in and strip me, and then we're in big trouble, sort of thing.
Yeah, and he's always got the pace to deal with. You can't break away at any point because it's like, I'm movement 6, and he's just I'm movement 7. Right, what are you going to do?
And so we just have to play it really carefully, and we're trying to keep the players together, and we're trying not to give him anything. And inevitably at some point he blitzes the rat ogre in and just knocks a player 2 squares backwards and stands next to my ball carrier. And obviously it's got the tail as well, which is a problem. And on one turn we are reduced to having to 2 dice uphill it with a hobgoblin. Because that's the only thing to do. I have to 2 dice uphill his rat ogre with a hobgoblin. And I am slightly fortunate in that it's power defender stumbles into a stun.
Oh, okay. That's very nice.
So that helps. But, I haven't been able to maintain 100% cage coherency. And he does manage to get a, I don't know, it's a 2 dice uphill, maybe a 1 dice. I think it's a 2 dice uphill with this wrestle strip ball gutter runner on on my ball carrier.
Okay.
And the ball goes down, and he's able to get 3 tackle zones on it. Debatable whether or not he should have maybe tried to pick it up with one of his gutter runners, because it was only in 2 tackle zones, so 4 plus.
Okay, yeah.
But he chose not to, and he gets 3 tackle zones on it. But I suppose where he's perhaps made an error, if he has made one, is that those 3 tackle zones are all on my side of the ball. So that when I'm able to hit one just on a block, I'm then able to blitz the other another gutter runner with a Chaos Dwarf. When I find the knockdown and the chain push to push the last tackle zone off the ball, the Rat Ogre's also next to that players. So when my Hobgoblin picks it up and starts running towards his end zone, actually, all of a sudden, he's got nothing between me and his end zone. Everything on his team is...
Yeah, he's swung around. He's on the wrong side of you.
He's on the wrong side of the ball.
Yeah.
And I think that probably makes me think maybe the pickup with a gutter... I understand why he didn't do it, but, maybe the pickup with... Because if he'd failed it on a 4+, maybe the ball scatters into a worse position for him and a better position for me. So, as it is then... really, there's nothing he can do. And I run it in on my turn 16 for 1-0.
Very nice.
And it was, to be honest, probably one of the best drives I've done with Chorfs, just in terms of holding things together. I took another removal as well, so I was actually playing 11 against 8 by the time I scored, which is just, you're not supposed to do that, are you, Chorfs?
No.
Skaven. Obviously, he's got 11 players. He's got the 1-turn option. I've only got 8 players. So the best I'm able to do is stick 2 balls on a Hobgoblin on the line of scrimmage and then string my Chorfs out.
Yep. Very sensible,
yeah. He's got no rerolls. Rat Ogre finds the pushes for him. Gutter Runner picks the ball up, hands it off to another Gutter Runner who hits a 4+ pass, and then the Gutter Runner hits 3+3+2+ through tackle, so no dodge, and then hits both go for it's, and we draw 1-1.
Hey, these things happen. That's what That's what Skaven can do.
Absolutely, and fair play to him. I mean, plenty of people who mess up the 1-turn attempt. So he got the pushes, and then he probably made statistically the right play in terms of the stuff that was most likely to come off. And another 1-1 draw.
Very nice. Well done. Sounds like a good game all round. Actually, sounds like a solid performance from you. And yeah, some good to see some quality opposition that can do the 1-turn. Because although many people will sit here, I'm sure there'll be people listening who go, well, if you can't do a 1-turn with Skaven, why are you playing them? But actually, you've all got to remember that, everyone's got to start somewhere, and it's great to hear that the quality of opposition that we're facing are those kind of people who will just go, yeah, I've got to do it, so I'm going to do it. I've just got to do that.
Yeah, good play.
Yeah, very nice.
How did you get on game 3 then, buddy?
Okay, game 3. Well, now you watched the game 3. You actually watched it and messaged me afterwards saying, "Wow." So let's get into this one. So I was playing a guy called Morrow84, who'd brought orcs. He had some blocks, some guard. He had 12 players, 2 rerolls, no Apo. So I got excited. I was like, "Ha, no Apo." We might be able to do some damage. The
reason I would have been excited is I guess I played against this guy at ATC.
Ah, very good. How'd you get on against him?
I drew 1-0 with my high elves. He was the guy that was playing for the Holy Four, so he'd be part of a team that came second in the last World Cup.
Ah, yes.
And in fact, he won with orcs. He won the Fumble NAF tournament that preceded this one.
Oh. Very good. I think you told me that beforehand. Yeah. So I'm looking for a draw to equal your result versus this guy, or I am looking for a win to be better than you for the second time in this podcast.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go.
Right. Okay. So So the game starts, and I'm receiving. Kicks to me. So I do the withdrawn offense because Slan, full 11. I thought to myself, well, I'll run back and I'll see what this guy's going to do. I don't want to score any quicker than turn 8, so I might as well give it a go. And Morrow kind of fell into the trap, I would say. I did have to roll some dice to get past when I did, but I was able to kind of pull the team apart slightly. And even though Big Uns are movement 5, it did feel like I'd kind of not outsmarted is completely the wrong word, and I don't mean it in that way. It's more he'd fallen for the play. I'd gone. If I could have told you right on turn 4, I want to be in this position, we'd kind of ended up in the position that I wanted to be in. And that's just how it went, really. That was that. But the scramble defense from Morrow was very impressive, and I found myself suddenly under quite a lot of pressure, and I was able to kind of like potato the ball forward with a kind of a little bit of a screen, where even with that screen, I'd left a sack on the ball, held by a catcher. I'd left a sack on the ball, which was from his thrower, who had no skills. Mm-hmm. Okay, so no block, and he'll need the 2+ to get the actual hit, and then he'll get 2 dice because he's strength 3. But he needs the POW to actually sack me properly, because if he rolls the both down, we'll both go down, and I've got another catcher there who will just pick the ball up the following turn and go and stand in the corner, and then I can screen off again, basically, Cool. So it's a 2 and then a 6 needed, effectively. I watched the game back, and I wasn't too impressed with my play a couple of turns earlier. I think I didn't actually position. I think there was a reason why I ended up not having enough players for the screen at that point. Was some interesting, probably over blocking in a couple of turns earlier, which is always fascinating. Okay. And this is something where when you watch something back, you can see these things. And I think that in hindsight, I should have just concentrated more on just getting more players through, like get everything through that I can. Something may have failed anyway, but it's where the errors come from me. So he needs the 2+ and the POW, and he makes the 2+ and rolls a POW, with no reroll burn. So we've gone into a bit of a sticky situation, and the scatter's kind of gone into the middle of all these orcs. I then manage somehow to kind of like pop the ball, recover it. He then sacks me again. I then sack and recover. It was a real tete-a-tete over a couple of turns. Boom, you've got the ball. No, I've got the ball. No, you've got this one. And it ends up where the ball's on the floor, and I need the pickup and a double GFI or double rush to score, and I fail the final rush to score. So
we're both doing that this round. We
are. But again, there was also a questionable reroll choice that I made a little earlier on. And with 4 rerolls, you can kind of go, oh yeah, I'll throw that reroll in now. But actually, maybe because I'm much more used to playing, a 2 reroll build, a 3 reroll build, and on those ones, I like to pride myself in how well I can kind of hold back on those. You remember when we discussed the most recent, but before this one, the TSD, where I took the 2 reroll Necro and no sure hands on the Ghoul, and I spent the next 6 weeks complaining at you that I burned a reroll every time I tried to pick the ball up, and I should have taken sure hands, and because I had to, in those situations with 2 rerolls. So I'm thinking to myself, actually, I probably burned a reroll, not unnecessarily. But did I give enough time to think every reroll that I did? Maybe not. That was maybe the learning point from that one. So we find ourselves going into the second half 0-0, and he's got some guard, so it's not going to be necessarily easy to get the sack play on him, because he can cage up nicely with his orcs and just grind down the pitch. And so this goes, grinding, and eventually I get the shot that I'm just again, it's kind of kitchen sink style again here, and I go for a sack on turn 6, and I sack the ball, and the ball pops free, and I end up at the end of that's turn 5. So starting turn 6, I've got the ball in my hands. He then sacks me on his turn 6. Okay. And then on my turn 6, I sack him back again, and I'm holding the ball.
Here we go.
And then on turn 7, he sacks me back and ends his turn 7 holding the ball.
Yeah.
And on my turn 7, I sack him back, and I end my turn 7 holding the ball. Okay. I should also stress, just humorously at this point as well, on his turn 7, my internet cut out. So I automatically left the game, as you do on Fumble.
Yeah.
The opponent leaves the game, and then my internet came back. It was just a little blip. Internet came back in, and so I actually resumed on my turn 7 after he'd completed his turn, because there was no Apo, nothing like this needed, no sidestep. So I only found out that he'd sacked me back for turn 7 when I returned to the game. So it was, and then I sacked him back again. So turn 7. So he's going into his turn 8, and we've literally just gone my ball, no, my ball, no, my ball, no, my ball, no, thank you, it's my ball. We've gone like that. And on turn 8, he sacks me, and then is able to pick up the ball, unfortunately, and gets in for the 1-0. And it was a real humdinger. It was great. And this is where you messaged me going, oh mate, this is nuts. Yeah. It was like, really, if you fancy watching any of the games back, anyone who's listening to the podcast, you can watch these games back on Fumble, as long as people don't delete the team. It's quite easy to find them. So yeah, if you're going to watch a game back, just from a pure entertainment value, I'd say that was probably one of the most entertaining games of Blood Bowl I've played in a long time. It just felt really not silly in a stupid way, but it just felt a bit silly. It was nice. We had the number of times that we changed, the ball changed hands during the whole game it was brilliant. It was great fun. But unfortunately, it was a 1-0 loss. So that's Hellboy 1, Fear 1 in terms of how we fared against the same opponent in this podcast. So that now takes us on to match day 4, which is then the final match day, because this was a 4-week tournament leading up to Thrud. So this was match day 4. So who and what and how did you get on?
I played against a guy called Iapo, or Iapo, Italian coach, and Necro.
Oh.
Yeah. And I suppose the thing about playing online is, if you want to, you can at least have a look at how your opponent's games have gone previously. And I didn't have time to watch any matches, but you can at least see things like how many blocks, how many casualties, that sort of stuff. You can see some stuff.
Yeah. You can see some relevant statistics. Yeah.
Yeah. And I noticed that Iapo had a couple of games where their opponent had upwards of 70 blocks.
Wow. Okay.
And
these weren't corn where they're getting double blocks and stuff. No. Okay. Interesting.
No. Yeah. So that suggested to me that Iapo was likely to base everything and continue basing everything. Which, given the guard on the flesh golems, given the guard stand firm and or whatever it's called,
the sidestep the sidestep foul appearance on the ropes. Yeah, it's
you can kind of see how that's going to be good, particularly against someone like Chorfs. That we're not really dodging away, are we? So I won the toss and elected to drive. Not sure if that's right or not, but I elected to. I've been trying out electing to drive a little bit recently for various reasons, but with my first block, I removed the player.
Well done. Can't teach those kind of skills.
No. By the end of the first half, I had thrown something in excess of 40 blocks.
Oh
I
my
think.
lord! Oh
But
wow!
for no further removals.
Oh, okay, but that's a phenomenal number of blocks to be giving away.
Yeah. And I'd given up a removal the other way. And yeah, I didn't score because it's just really difficult with chorfs because they don't dodge well. So if they're just going to get based every turn and they can't remove anything, then it becomes quite difficult then to cover the advance when you try and move forward.
Sure.
So it's actually quite an interesting tactic because it just stopped me being able to go anywhere really at all.
Yeah.
Because it just never free up enough to kind of run off and make a screen or a cage or anything. I did get in scoring range with the Goblin, but he got 2 dice by a blodger. Which did have to dodge away from tackle, I suppose, but there we go. So second half, he gets the ball, he moves forward. There's an opportunity for me actually just to go all in on him, which I do. That forces him to kind of pop out the side with a couple of players. So he's kind of in a situation where he can score. He obviously wants to stall as long as he can, but then the removal dice kick in and his team just disappears.
Okay, yeah.
And then he's forced to score, and he leaves me about 3 or 4 turns. And then I think he's got 6, 7 players against 11. I hit 3. I mean, my armor dice just go mental, and I think I hit 3 stuns on the line of scrimmage blocks.
Oh man,
great
for a short 11. Drive. Yeah, great for a short drive. Yeah,
and we end 1-1. And so
okay,
we end the tournament with a 1-3-0.
Very nice.
That is just enough. That's a +5 on my my record, which tips me over 160. And you're now looking at the number 1 ranked Chorf online player for Wales. Well, you're not looking at me, obviously.
Yeah, listening to you. Congratulations. Well done, Fear. That was a real roller coaster there.
Much as when I took the high elf number 1 spot, I would like to thank everyone that's listening. I'm incredibly proud and honoured to be Wales' number 1 online Chorf player. It's just what I've always wanted, and I feel like I've now completed Blood Bowl.
Congratulations, well done. So you ended 1-3-0.
I did. Yeah. I did draw a lot of jobs.
Yeah. Humorously, I also ended with the same numbers as you did, just in a slightly different order.
Oh.
So game 4.
This also didn't go well then.
So game 4 was against Astipe.
Okay.
951, who'd brought humans. Now I'm not.
Oh.
Yeah, a different roster to the one that I faced in game 1. 2 rerolls, Apo, 14 players. Okay, big bench. Let's go. It was a bit daunting. That kind of just the size of the bench is just quite daunting when you're facing those kind of rosters. Now I'm not one for excuses. Okay, I really you know me well, Fear. I'm not one for excuses at all. However, so as people listening may know, I do some commentary on Andy Davo's CCL playoff games. And I know both Andy Davo and Duderino, who I commentate with, don't listen to this podcast. So Davo managed to schedule his playoff game on the same day that I'd already arranged to play this fumble game. Not only had he arranged it on the same day, but he'd arranged it with an hour's difference. So I would be 1 hour into commentating before the game started.
Oh God.
And obviously you don't want to mess around your opponent with Thrud being a 1 week turnaround, to tell the guy on the Monday, oh, by the way, do you mind if on Wednesday we don't play? Can we play on Saturday instead? Can we play on this other day instead? Kind of, it's such a for a non-emergency situation. I did with Doc in the Halfling game. I actually had a situation on the day we were meant to play where I came home and then had to go off and visit my mother. All fine, but it was a real life moment where I actually had to go and make a decision. And I said, look, I'm so sorry. Can we move it to a different date? And absolutely fine. Yep, no problem, mate. Understand completely. And that's where this Blood Bowl community comes in. And I always try and do the same as well for other people. If someone comes and says, I've had this real life situation crop up, of course, real life comes first. Let's try and play the game. So I never want to do anything. I don't want to, tell the guy, oh, sorry, mate, someone else has double booked something, and I kind of said I'd do it. So as I say, not making excuses, but I did play this game whilst commentating on someone else's game on a different form of Blood Bowl. Okay, so although my heart was in it, the attention was maybe not my finest attention to detail. And then, sadly, on top of all of it, as I discussed this with you off air before we started, this game, it just felt like nothing was going to work. It didn't feel like a pointless game of Blood Bowl, right? But it just felt like one of those games where I couldn't see a way through. I'd do something and it wouldn't work, and then he'd do something and it would work. And behind all of it, there was the difference between humans in round 1 and humans in round 4 there was the double screen. There was that I'm dominating here. I'm going to foul you. I'm winning this game already. I'm now going to win it more. There was that just relentless feel to it in terms of the coach, the opposing coach, recognizing how in control they were of the game, and then not letting me back in. It was red dice only after doing a 4+, 3+, 3+, rather than just the 3+ red dice. It was like there was just these small choices that were made, and it was, and I just, it's so rare that I feel...
They played it well then.
Yeah, played it well, and then just, and then it just was one of those ones where it felt like everything was just slipping away. And then, as I say, I was trying to commentate on another match as well, and it was a Wednesday, so I've been at work. It's always it all adds up, doesn't it? All these factors add up, and this is why I enjoy the tabletop scene as well, because think of when we went to Water Bowl together. We were able to chill out in the evening before, and then we're just there to play Blood Bowl the next day, and then we can chill out in the evening, and then what are we doing on Sunday? We're there to play Blood Bowl. There's no distractions. There's no, you don't have the kids there. You haven't had to do something the day before and then sit down and suddenly focus against a world-class coach who maybe they didn't have to go to work that day, or maybe they're having the time of their life at that point in time. Maybe their Blood Bowl's doing really well. Whatever. There's all these factors that suddenly are removed when you're able to go somewhere to just play Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
So as I say,
absolutely, and it's
yeah. It's as I say, I don't want people listening to feel like I'm making any excuses, but there was just Astapay played well, utilised the strength.
It sounds like it sounds like whatever got in the way of you playing your best Blood Bowl, your opponent actually played some really good Blood Bowl and were part of the problem for you.
Yeah,
and,
agreed. Yeah, a worthy,
life.
2-0 winner. Bit of a whitewash on the pitch, and then played well on top of it. You can't say better than that. That's where the Blood Bowl does. Although we have the phrase "there are no dice," there are actually still decisions and things that can happen that are out of your control. So you cannot give away 40 blocks, for example. You can give away 14 blocks. But if every time the block breaks armor, that's not your fault.
Stuff.
There's that you cannot control that. So yeah. So that was Thrud. No. We both ended Thrud on 1-3-0. Excellent. Just sometimes the numbers were in a different order. Really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think the only other thing that's been running that I certainly want to talk about the two games that I've had is we've got season 4 now, isn't it? Yeah, season 4 of Tackle Zone Star Divisions has started.
Well, before we get there, what I'll just mention very quickly is that I think I did mention the last thing that I've gone into this little French tournament, the Zlatan
Oh,
Cup.
yeah. You mentioned, yeah.
Yeah, with Speeding Bullets using Dark Elves, Dragonborn using Lizards, and I, for whatever stupid reason, have decided to use Corn.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
yes. And we can do this fairly quick. Game one, I think we were pitched up against Borpiff, Simon ACP, and Sam Dulac.
Oh wow, that's so that's
Pretty
pretty much a soft. That's a soft round one there.
stuff round one.
Yeah,
I
bloody
think
hell.
Speeding Bullet maybe got a draw.
Oh,
Dragonborn maybe a draw or a loss, and I came up against Sam Dulac Necro with Corn,
oh boy,
and
yeah.
I thought it might be difficult. The sidestep and the stand firm and the guard and all that stuff. He was very kind, and he said that he got a lot of armor breaks. Without really any removals, but he caught a lot of stuns during the game. That's what he said. I would say he basically made me feel like I was a complete noob at Blood Bowl. The guy absolutely played me off the park. Some of that is probably down to the.
Yeah, what I was going to say was
Corn. It was my first Corn game, right? So there's probably an element of that.
And Corn Necro as well.
He was brilliant.
You've got so much frenzy and stand firm, knocking around the whole pitch, and the sidestep as well. It's like on both sides, you can easily get misled. You can easily get led astray, and if you're not familiar with how your team is even going to play, obviously a great Necro coach, there's that understanding of how to use only 2 frenzy. And when the opponent's got 6, 7, it's scary. You can just end up in such awkward positions. So
and then game 2, I don't know I can't remember who Dragonborn and Speeding Bullet played against, but I played against a guy called AJTC who also had Corn. And we played out a 1-1 draw, and that was just the most insane game of Blood Bowl ever witnessed, and that was a 1-1 draw. We won that round.
Well done.
Winning that round was to go. Yeah, our reward for winning that one was to go into play against all the President's Men.
Oh, another soft round. Wow, you've been gifted 2 soft rounds then. Well done.
Yeah. Now, Dragonborn and Speeding Bullet took losses to Purple Goo and Gegster. Joe, Manji, and I to fail to arrange our game, but it was a dead rubber by that point anyway. So I just said, "Look, let's leave it." We just couldn't find a mutually agreeable time.
Real life,
to do it.
Real life, and it's not. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. And so the last round and the most recent game of Blood Bowl I played just earlier this week, we were against another team, and I was against a player called Pathy 91, and they're Norse.
Okay.
And this is one of those games where, it's just one of those games, I think, for poor Hathy 91 and their Norse, because I don't feel that I played all that great, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I think that Hathy kind of used my frenzy against me quite well. There was points when just a lot of my players ended up on the floor. I was kind of caught between going all in to force the situation, and and trying to protect the ball carrier because I was driving to start with. And in the end, I mean, I ended up potatoing, and he had 2 dice with block, on my ball carrier, who did not have block. He was a leader beast, and couldn't knock it over. Knock it over, and so I was able to blitz, using horns for 1 dice, and then dodge on a 3+ and run it in to go 1-0. And then he had a short drive, and he had 1 player in scoring range. Well, he had 2 players in scoring range. I knocked one of them over, and I marked the other player with 3 of my players, and I marked them on 3 of the 4 diagonals. Yeah?
Okay.
Feeling like definitely now can't hand off to this player. Yeah.
Okay.
What he could do though was dodge the zone, run it to the end zone with 1 go for it, and then run his thrower forward and have a 4+ pass with pass skill for a 3+ catch to go in 1 all at the half. Don't know how I missed that. Just left him with a 3+ dodge. Fortunate for me, it was wildly inaccurate.
Wow, you lucky boy.
Yeah. So we're 1-0 to me at the half, and then the second half, there's more sort of nonsense for me to find a turnover and steal the ball and sort of slam it in on turn 5 for 2-0. And then to add insult to injury, he's out of rerolls by this point. His first block, because he, goes to try and, he's got about 4 turns left. His first block of his next drive is a double skull.
Oh, for goodness sake.
And I've nicked the ball and went 3-0.
Oh.
And I've come out of it and messaged the guys and gone, guys, I've won 3-0. We're up in this round already. But, I have played, I played so much better against Sam Delac, even though he schooled me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you've had to leave 2 dice on the ball that you've had to survive to even stand a chance of getting the first score. Then you've survived by giving him the free dodge out on the corner that you've missed. And and then he's failed the pass for that one. And then, sure, there's some reroll burn happened to end up with no rerolls, but then he's rolled the double skulls that's then gifted you, the nail in the coffin.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, and actually, sort of, I've never won 3-0 and felt so unworthy of it in all of my days.
In all of your 3-0s,
if you ever can't believe you will, because I think French is probably the first language, but if you ever listen to this, I could only apologise for the absolute nonsense.
Fair enough.
But anyway, that's a quick whiz through that. So TST, tackles and starters of 4. We've both taken Amazons.
Yes, we have. Yeah, we've gone for slightly different builds, haven't we? I've gone my more traditional. You've gone for 14 players, 3 rerolls Apo, 4 guard, 2 wrestle, 1 block catcher. I've got the thrower, which I normally wouldn't take in the old rules, but you need it for the short drive. I think you need the thrower for the short drive.
Yeah, I don't
because of the pass. Because of the pass. Because prior to that, all players had the 3+ pass. And as long as you had a reroll, then you're just the same, right? It was, you were paying, the extra difference was you were paying for the pass skill that you may never use.
Yes.
And I just didn't like that. I preferred to invest in other things with that. But now I feel it is quite useful to have. But yeah, you've gone a completely different route and you've taken star player, haven't you?
Oh yeah. I've talked about this roster before on one of the previous episodes, I think, that I used in an Easter tournament a while ago. So we just got 4 guard on the blitzers, the rest are line, and I have the Zote.
Zolcath the Zote. I used the Zote once.
Yes.
I used the Zote once in a fumble major where I was so much TV down. Do you remember this one? I was so much TV down that I could take 2 star players and a wizard, and I fielded 6 Saurus and 2.
I'm pretty certain. Exactly.
Oh, I've lost your audio a bit there, Fear. What was that?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Right, say that again.
Good. I'm pretty certain that you told exactly the same story the last time I mentioned using a Zote.
I probably did. Anyway, if you haven't heard that story, go back and listen to episodes 1 to 7 of the Blood Bowl Diaries that you're listening to right now, because I can't remember which episode it's in. So enjoy our back catalogue, guys. You can find the podcast on Spotify or on the YouTube channel Hellboy_Blood Bowl. If you haven't found us yet, I don't know how you're listening to this. So go check out the past content. Episode 1's a bit shaky, but the rest of them, they're pretty good actually. Right, so you've gone down that road. How many rerolls do you have? Do you have an Apo? How many rerolls?
The rerolls, I don't think I have an Apo.
No, it's pricey, isn't it? It's pricey. It's not just pricey. Yeah, it's not just pricey though. In terms of the Zote itself, it's what you give up, because you're giving up 3 skills. You're giving up three primary skills for that.
Well, am I? Because I'm gaining Sure Feet, gaining a Prehensile Tail, I'm gaining Mighty Blow and Juggernaut, gaining Strength 5. So arguably, I'm gaining
Interesting.
I'm gaining 2 or 3.
Interesting. So, seeing as we're with your, seeing as we're with your one, then do you want to kick us off with game 1 of your TSD?
Yeah, I will. I've played 1 game so far, and I will tell you about it. And my second game will be against Dragonborn in a week or so's time.
Oh, right.
Probably this time next week, maybe.
Okay. Like I didn't realise you only played. I didn't realise you only played 1. Shall I start then? Because I've played 2.
No, you can do your 2 back to back. That's fine.
Okay.
I don't mind that.
We'll do that. We'll break from tradition.
So I played against. I played against another one of the Greek contingent. It starts with an X. Tapodias, I think we're going for. We're Shambling Undead, and it's the best team name of a team ever.
Okay, hit me with it.
Because his team are, Sons of, and then it's TERNOVA, which, as best as I can pronounce it, is Ternova.
Okay.
So his team are the Sons of Nova.
Okay.
Which I just loved. I love that. Sons of Turnover is a brilliant team name for me.
Sons of Turnover. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
It took me a moment.
You're getting it.
I got it. Yeah. That is actually pretty funny. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Undead. He drove, I think, and the Zote was giving me opportunities to hit his mummies, and then the Zote got back into the middle, so that when he pushed up the flank, the Zote then went and blitzed its way in and pinned 3 ghouls to the sideline with Prehensile Tail and Strength 5.
Oh my god, this Zote is paying for those 3 skills right away. I'm impressed.
Oh mate, it was brilliant. So then he couldn't get out of that, trapped against the side along with the tail, and the Strength 5, he couldn't find a way out of it. So we were able to just sort of get hold of the ball, and he wasn't able to score. And then on my drive, I think he actually cast a mummy on my drive. And galloped off, lead corner of the cage, on the inside, as everyone else piled around behind him. Even managed to helpfully pass a loner reroll. Past the 4+ on loner when I needed him to reroll a double skull.
Beautiful.
And we, yeah.
Oh. Blissful. So
And
100% success with the Zote.
well, yeah, I mean I've used the build before in that Easter tournament where I won one, lost one. Although I should have won two really, but so yeah, we're 201 with the Zote building lifetime now.
Yep.
And yeah, we started well, and he was. I mean, God knows what happens when he gets cast. I mean, I think the team is toast when he gets cast. But while he's on the pitch, he is a absolute legend, which is
an absolute unit.
Basically what Zotes are.
Yeah.
Pictures, yeah.
Amazing.
So, how about yourself then? When do you play two games though with your slightly more traditional?
Yeah, I've played 2 games with my traditional ones. This is why I love Tackle Zone Star Division, right? The quality of coaches. The 2 games I've played are not. I'm not going to say they're Blood Bowl royalty, but they are Blood Bowl celebrity. Okay. Game number 1.
Nice.
Game number 1. I'm playing against captain of Team Ireland and UKTC winner this year, individual, Raging 82. And
oh wow!
And he's playing the team with a similar build to the team that he won UKTC with.
Oh, Renegades Pact, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, Renegades Pact, whatever it is, with 2 big guys. And so I am chomping at the bit. Raging. We have a quick message to each other. It's very pleasant, but I am buzzing. I'm wanting to get into this game. TSD is one of those. It's the league that I care about the most in terms of just knowing that I'm going to get good games and just wanting to play well.
Yeah.
It's the league where I can sit down and go, yep, I want to get this. I want to play well. I want to try my best. Obviously, real life, as we touched on in the previous game, the last one, the Thrud, real life can get in the way sometimes, and there are things that can happen to it, but I always try and get TSD scheduled at a time when I think I'm going to be able to play well, or properly, or where I'm going to be able to do some credit and stuff. So I was super excited to play versus Raging, and we start, and he kicks to me. And this first half can kind of be summed up with a few kind of key things that were occurring, right? So Raging is playing solid Blood Bowl, and I'm not just saying that because we're, obviously he's a fan of the podcast. I know he's going to listen, but he's playing solid, okay? But there's some really key things that are happening at the beginning of the game. First of all, Raging is making rushes, GFIs, whatever you want to call them, and is rolling ones. Okay? So the reroll burn is happening early. All right? Because Raging doesn't want to just give up pitch position. Yeah, right. So that's going on. So there's some reroll burn going on, and Raging's rolling ones on these rushes, right? To counter that, though, not every time Raging hits me, but a reasonable amount of the time, he's rolling POWs, which is obviously the bane of the Amazon, right? Because now I'm being knocked down, okay? But it's not happening frequently enough. There's no spiral going on. Like, yes, it's annoying, but there's no spiral going on. So there's no massive, I can't pass anything, but I've removed half your team in 4 turns. That's not going on. But the real kicker is that basically none of my dodges are failing. So Raging's basing, trying to position, trying to block this, going, right, well, if you want to do that, you've got to make a 3+, and I'm going, 3+, I have those for breakfast, boom, there we go, I've made one. Boom, I've made another one. Oh, look at that, you think you've screened off? No, boom, I've made another 3+. It's not getting ridiculous, but it is clearly a very in my favour start to the game, okay?
Yeah.
However, you don't captain the national side and win UKTC by just rolling over, right? Raging still forces me to score early, right? And that is absolute credit to Raging's coaching there. I was
Yeah, fair play.
I took the pitch space, and then Raging went, right, well, I'm just going to squeeze you now. That's all he's got. That's all he had, was basically to squeeze me, and he pushed it and forced me to score early, giving himself a short drive back. Now, luckily, that short drive back, he only had one reroll, which goes very, very quickly into the short drive. That vanishes. Okay?
Right.
And
okay.
Turn 7, I've screened off and some of this, and Raging's seen the route through. I know the route through that Raging's going to do. Like, I've seen it as well. It's a pretty straightforward. There's going to be some GFIs involved to get away. I'm going to have some GFIs to do a sack. This kind of thing. There's going to be options for me, but there's basically one line of play. Raging sees it, goes for it, and doesn't hit the dice needed to clear my player out the way. Rolls, I think it was double both down with block on my block player.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there is no route through. Like, genuinely needed a push to have a route through, and hit the only result that means there is now no route through.
Can't get through.
Yep. Wow. And so I can't recall if he was able to get any kind of scoring threat in place, or whether he just caged up. But if there was a scoring threat, I blitzed the scoring threat. It was very straightforward, right? It was like that, and it was I said to him at the time, look, that's absolutely right play. Just unfortunate wrong dice there. And as I say, I think there was still a way I can get a hit back on him. There was still a handful of dice to be rolled at that point as well. But it was just very unlucky. Absolutely correct play. Then the second half happened, so I'm 1-0 up still, and so I'm like, okay, well, as long as I can kind of hold him off, I'll happily take a draw versus Raging, right? But let's see what can happen. And it kind of flips into a mirror of the first half, but this time I'm burning all my rerolls. To the point where I actually use my final reroll, I think on turn 4 or turn 5. I think it might have even been turn 4. Like, it was really early. And I said to Raging Out, I'm gonna have to take a minute to check this, to have a think. Let me think about this reroll. And I did reroll it, and I sacked the ball. But Raging recovered, starts removing my players, and then I kind of do some craziness. I do a 5+ dodge in for the 1D, pop the ball, pick the ball up, run away, and I'm thinking this is done. I'm preparing the victory speech for the podcast. I'm getting ready. But again, Raging doesn't. You don't win big tournaments. You don't become the national captain without, being able to play under these pressured situations. And Raging recovers. And Raging gets the ball, and he runs off with it. And we've gone from looking like not a completely locked in 2-0 win for me, but, I was starting to think, okay, this is a 2-0 win now. And all of a sudden, I'm staring down the barrel of the draw. And it's we get to turn 8. I've based the ball carrier. It's the best I can do, but he's got a 2-dice blitz with his orc, who's got block. So the orc will do the blitz, get the block. I've got no block on my piece, so it's literally 1 in 36. We'll stop that one, and then it's a rush to score in the end zone. The only thing I've got going is that Raging's burnt his last reroll as well. So Raging does the blitz, double skull. So that's it. That's it. Game done. Turn 8, double skull. The only things that can save me are the 1 in 36,
the double skull,
and which is the double skull, or the 1 into the end zone, and up comes the double skulls.
Presumably he's got to pick the ball up as well, has he?
Or... No, he's holding.
No,
the
he
ball.
got the ball, had he?
Yeah, he'd got the ball.
Holding the ball.
He completely. Right. He'd recovered completely. We've gone from Hellboy's going to win 2-0 on turn 6.
Yeah.
To I literally need
I'm with you.
A 2-dice blitz and a 2+, and I win the game. So I draw the game.
Oh.
Gosh.
What a game!
Absolutely amazing game. Really, really fun. Quality opposition. Raging lovely as always. Absolute pleasure. Looking forward to seeing him again in Malta. And yeah, but wow. I mean, I would have felt happy getting away with a draw. Given the fact that he had the short drive, he'd played well there. I'd kind of let myself fall into a trap, as we've discussed earlier. I wasn't in such control of the game that I threw it away, but I did take too much space. I think I could have been a bit slower, to not have myself pushed in for that. But yeah, so that was game one of TSD. So I was off to some winning ways with the Amazons, which was nice. And they felt all right. They felt all right in that matchup. That matchup felt strange. But yeah, it felt all right. So going from Raging in game one, I then drew Triple Skulls Wood Elves, another celebrity in the Blood Bowl world. And this is why I love TSD, right? This is why I love TSD, because round one.
This is the guy that This is the guy that changed your draw in the first round of Super League. So there's a bit of enmity going into this.
This is the guy that knocked me out of Fear Bowl.
Oh really?
Wasn't it? He knocked me out of Fear Bowl. The
Gauntlet of Fear.
The Gauntlet one, yeah. That one.
Yeah, the Gauntlet of Fear. Yeah. Oh right. Okay. So there's a history here. There's a history here.
There's a history between me and Triple Skull. Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely guy. Absolutely lovely guy.
And of course he'll be. He's captain of Team Denmark.
Exactly. So I'm playing all the captains. I'm fully anticipating to play. I don't know if Pete W's in my bracket, but I'm fully anticipating to face Pete W next year. So and on top of all of that, Triple Skull is bringing what was on paper pretty much a 95% win for Wood Elves in the old rules. In Wood Elves versus Amazons, right? Because Amazons are never taking sure hands, and so they're facing strip ball tackle war dancers, and they've got the guard, but if the Wood Elves can column up, use the tree, this all these sorts of things, then you just don't have the answer. The elves outspeed you, they outdodge you, and they're bringing the skills to the table that can cause you problems. So Triple Skull kicks to me, and starts doing the columns, some screening, standard Wood Elf play. It felt very much like nothing had changed, almost. We could have been playing this game 4 years ago. That's how standard this game kind of felt. Triple Skull also completely outplayed me on a turn where he spotted a lovely chain push. To get a 2 dice on the ball with the tree.
Wow.
But luckily for me, didn't fill in one of the squares. So so failed the lovely chain push. So sorry, Triple Skull, if you listen to this, I'm not throwing you under the bus. I did compliment him first, But yes, it was. Yeah. But again,
and Triple Skull will. I mean, he's another listener of the podcast, so I'm sure he'll listen, and I'm sure he'll take that as a, he'll probably have kicked himself if he spotted something really good and then just.
Oh my goodness me! He pointed it out, almost instantaneously. Was like, should have filled in that square, and it was like, that was a good play. There was, it was two dice blocks to get 2 dice on the ball with the tree. It's wow. It was I messed up there. And I'll hold my hands up and say it. But yeah, I managed to, I got away with that one. I struggled on, again, the elf columns just work. They're really not, if you're not getting the knockdowns, removals and stuff, and if the opponent as well, as we've said before, you're playing against good opposition, they're positioning well. It works, it works well. And then I did something which I thought was really clever until after the match when Triple Skull told me that I should have jumped instead. So I'll tell you what I did do, and then I'll tell you what I should have done. Okay, because Triple Skull is very tuned into the new rules. So I made a Triple Skull had column defense with 2 players in base contact of his. So each column's got 2 of his own players in contact with each other, right? Now,
right, okay, got it.
So they're tight columns, not the wide columns, they're the tight columns, right?
Yeah.
And when I played Store one time, Store did something that I thought was really clever, which was he didn't blitz the front player, he dodged in to the tackle zone and blitzed the back player.
No.
Because then your dodge out is easier, right? So you do the dodge in, which is harder, but then your dodge out is easier, right? But
so it's a 5+ in and then a
and then a 3+ out. Right. I'd forgotten that Store, of course, did this with Dark Elves. So what he did was a 4+ in and then a 2+ out. Right. So I, in hindsight, I'm really kicking myself for this one. But I made the 5+, I made the push, I made the 3+, and made the 2 GFIs to score. Okay.
Right.
However, after the game, Triple Skull pointed out to me, he said, maybe you should have just done the 4-4-3. You probably should have just done that, or you could have just jumped. So there's a lot to learn still. You're always learning.
If you blitzed the front player and got the knockdown, then you could have on the 4 and then had the 3 maybe dodge away. So you'd have been it would have been a 4+, 3+, rather than 5+, 3+.
Yeah. But these things, you got to learn somewhere. But yes, no, absolutely right from Triple Skull there. So but also really generous to pass on the suggestions as well. It's nice to have discussions like this. This is how you learn.
Yeah.
And I'd taken something that I'd seen Store do versus me, and thought, oh, I can use that in this situation. And then I've realised that I've got overexcited now, and it's actually, okay, in a future game, that is probably the right play. But hang on a minute, remember you can jump, remember you can do anyway. So then Triple Skull goes for the 1 turn, gets all the pushes, and then I believe it was a double 1 on the pickup, rather than the double 1 on the pass.
Oh.
But it's a double 1. Did all the hard work, and then double 1s. And then Triple Skull just goes, right, okay, it's time to, got to make a decision, right? Are you pushing for win? Are you holding on for draw? Like, what can you do? You're Wood Elves in this game, so you've really got the choice, right? And I burned some re-rolls again. I was a bit. It was a weird one. I think one of them was fine, but the other one I really should have just eaten it. I should have done better turn ordering, I think. But he scores back on turn 4. And then the kick goes deep. Okay? And so he's given me a shortish drive, 5-turn drive. But he's kicked deep, and through various things, it's 4 re-rolls to 1 in his favour. Okay? So Wood Elves with 4 re-rolls versus 1, for my Amazons. And it's just a slog. And I realise pretty quickly that I'm not going to score. Like I am 100% trying to stop him score as the first priority, and then I will look to score myself if I can. And on turn 7, for Triple Skull, he blitzes with the tree. Rather than going after the ball carrier, he blitzes with the tree and bases the ball carrier. And then has a lovely turn where he's positioned a couple of scoring threats, basing my players. So he's got scoring threats, but they're basing my players. But then he's based the ball with the tree, and then he's screened off with other players between the player that I might go and score with his players. So he's basically said, right, well, if you dodge away from the tree, you've then got to make an action that goes over these players. So I'm going to get a chance to score back. So obviously my top priority is the full focus on trying to knock over these scoring threats, just to secure the draw, right? So I've got the blitz, I've got the pushes, and I'm getting able to knock them down, get them out of range, and I make a decision where I've got to either go for a foul early and then try and score, or try and score but risk leaving the play on for him. And I decide that I'm going to try and secure the draw first and foremost. Thinking Euro Bowl. Let's lock in the draw. If I had to win, if I absolutely had to win the game, I would do it the other way round, right? You go for the score at this point, you go for the runaway at this point, and then you do the foul afterwards. If it doesn't matter whether it's a draw or a loss, right? But I go for the foul, stun him, get sent off. So it's going to be a 1-1 because I've knocked one over and it's too far away. I haven't left any chain pushes on. I'm very diligent about making sure that I'm not leaving any silly chain pushes on. And yeah, I'm not one over. He can't score, and I've stunned the one that was still just in scoring range. So it's a 1-1 draw.
Excellent.
And I made a few mistakes in that game. I'll hold my hand up and say I made a few mistakes. I thought I was being clever in a couple of moments. I wasn't. But I was able to also identify some moments where I was able to take some good actions, I think. There's still a bit of work to do. But in a matchup that still feels quite unbalanced, I will absolutely take a draw in a setting like that. So yeah.
He's a top coach. There are Wales are still probably challenging for Amazons on the basis that, as we said earlier, that if they outstrength you and they're quicker than you, then you got a problem. They do. And they dodge
good.
better.
Yep. No, exactly.
Yeah, they dodge as well or better than you in some cases, and so it's not a bad result. That I think if you were sat at Euro Bowl,
I'd take a draw.
Wales,
I would take a draw. Yeah,
you got a draw in that game. You'd probably be happy.
100%. Yeah. So no, and I'm looking forward to also meeting Triple Skull out in Malta. And I'm looking forward to round 3. I'm looking forward to round 3 of Tackle Zone Star Division, which hasn't been drawn yet in our division. But I'm assuming that with the current standings, I'm going to be playing another captain of a Euro Bowl team in round 3. So I look forward to that one.
Just what happens to you, yeah.
Exactly. It's just what happens, isn't it? Yeah. So that's our own personal roundup of what we've been getting up to online, and that's we've been busy, haven't we? We've been really busy actually.
It's a lot of Blood Bowl.
That's a lot of
NAF style Blood Bowl.
Yeah, it really is. So shall we? Yeah, you say what you're going to say.
Well, I was going to say. I mean, the only thing I probably wanted to do here is just kind of mention. I mean, I've got a couple of tournaments coming up. You've got a couple of tournaments coming up. I wasn't going to mention too much, but just at least give maybe a bit of a shout out to where we are going to be playing Tabletop Blood Bowl.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea. Yep.
So, I'm going to be on the 3rd of September, so only a few weeks away. There are still some tickets for anybody that fancies it. I think we're on the 7th or the 8th iteration of a tournament called Star, which is run by Speeding Bullet. And that will be held in Shrewsbury. Lovely venue, Games Cafe, right in the city centre. We've got some good coaches coming. I think the defending champion is K-Fode, and he's going to be there. But no one's ever won it twice.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Yeah, 7 or 8 different iterations of it. It's always been a different winner, and I think a different race every time. So that one. And then in November, 12th of November, I mean, you can find that one on Talk Fantasy Football if you're on there, or drop me a message on Fumble or somewhere if you want guiding to where you can find one. There's a Facebook page for it as well, I think. And then on the 12th of November, I'm playing in the delightfully titled, if I can remember it, Torneo de los Muertos. She's run by Bold Fox. Another one-dayer. I think it's the weekend after Euro Bowl, which is probably got a slightly less kind of celebrity feel to the coaches that are going. But again, it's in a shop called Glasshammer Gaming, which is in Telford. And people that play 40k will probably be aware of Glasshammer. I think one of the guys there, Manny Chima, who I used to play against 40k against, plays for Team England. at Warhammer 40,000. He's one of the guys that runs the shop, and I think they've got quite an active kind of YouTube channel where people can, they put 40k battles on, and it's really, really good coverage and stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm going to be in September and November. I think you've got two tournaments coming up. Have you, Hellboy?
Yes, I have. Yes, I am playing in the Red Trophy 6, which is in High Wycombe. No numbers place, Tabletop Republic. And I've just looked on Talk Fantasy Football, and there are currently 5 places left. So this podcast, we're recording it on a Sunday night. It will go out tomorrow, which is Monday. So if you are listening, there are still 5 places left for this coming weekend. So if you listen to this and want to get down there, certainly do. You can not only have 6 great games.
Is that a one day?
No, it's a 2-dayer. It's a 2-dayer. You can get 6 great games of Blood Bowl with a nice prompt finish. Not too early a start. 10 o'clock start on day 2. But a nice prompt finish, 5:30 end of the game 6. So nice prompt finishes. I'll be driving there every day, and then and also you can meet me. So there we go. You can come and say hi. So 6 great games of Blood Bowl, lovely venue, no number runs, a great tournament, and you can come meet me. What else? What else is there to say? Lovely. So
we'll probably talk about the game on a future podcast.
Exactly. So if you get a chance to play, you might feature on a podcast that is listened to literally tens of people. So you should It's
hang on, triple digits, mate. Triple digits, hundreds people or so.
Yeah, literally hundreds of people. Exactly. If we add them all together, and then put in some of my songs on YouTube, we can definitely get to thousands.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, and then my second tournament is a little one. I can't even remember when it is. It's just such a negligible tournament, really. It's just a few mates, really. It's just a few people kind of gather together in an area.
Going on holiday. Going on holiday to Malta. Is it? Mate?
No, it's it's something about Maltesers, I think. It's something to do with Maltesers. I'm going to Eurobowl. And that will be the next tournament after that one. Yeah, going to Eurobowl.
Now, whilst I don't think Team Wales has been officially announced on the old Eurobowl website yet.
No, keeping the cards close to the chest. Keeping the cards close to the chest. Am I in? Am I not? Am I attending? Well, I've just said so, but yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I am. I am good. Going. I am going. Yeah.
But while we're here, obviously, first of all, best of luck. I don't know whether we'll have a chance to have a bit of a chat about it on a podcast before you go. But
we'll probably get one in.
Like Triple Skull and Ranger. Wish you all the best of luck.
Yep. Very true.
And while I'm here, we'll give a bit of a shout out to to Triple Skull and some of the guys that we play with in TSD, like Topper and Pete DK and Madvig and Tank, who've all made the Team Denmark, and obviously Pete W and Purple Goo, Gegster, K-Folk, Joe Manji are all in Team England. Who else have we got? Deville and Maitre Tac Tac and Oliver Dulac are in Team France. Pretty much all the Team Germany, Arioso, Candlejack, Junior 84, Stymie, Backy. Congrats to all of those. Straume or Lona, depending on who wants to title himself, in Team Norway, and Strider and Kithor and Siggy from Team Switzerland. Great opportunity for you to meet loads of people in that Eurobowl tournament that we play with online quite regularly.
Exactly, and knowing me, I will completely ignore everyone, not realise I've met all the people that I've met, and then go, oh, sorry, I was so fixated on just trying to play the Blood Bowl in front of me that I forgot to socialise. That's me. That's what I fear. That's what I fear will happen. I am not like you. Fear is water bowl. You're walking around the room. Hi, I'm Fear. Yeah, I run the thing. Oh yeah, great. Here, there, and I'm stood there just talking talking to Duderino, going, yeah, dude, it's a great place. Yeah. Oh, have you met this person? No, I didn't even know they were here. The number of people I didn't even realise were in the room at Water Bowl is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So heaven help me when there's a couple of hundred people in a room, and I can barely remember my own name some days. I'm not very good with these things. So yeah. So we got a couple of tournaments coming up, so that's nice. So I guess then the
exciting podcasts at the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna have some good fun at the end of the year, I think. So that's gonna be a good one. Yeah, I suspect we'll try and get one in pre-Euro Bowl, and then do the big Euro Bowl / big what was it, Muerte tournament? Roundup.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe,
yeah, so close to each other. I'll do my little one dayer in Telford while you talk about Euro Bowl. Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, exactly. That could be really good. Yeah. I'll do game one. Right, game one. I sat down versus this massive name.
Yeah.
Who did you play? Oh, I played this guy who's it was his first ever tabletop game. This guy used to play 40k. He never played. They pulled him off the street to make the numbers. No, very good.
It won't be quite that.
Yeah. No, brilliant. No, sounds good. Yeah, so I think we'll try and get one in before that. But of course, what we must do to round off is a roundup. Hey,
yes.
See what I did there?
Right. Now, I'm conscious we've been going for a while. So, and also, and I know you like to keep these podcasts to a sensible amount of time.
Yeah, hour and a half.
And also,
hour and a half is every podcast is an hour and a half in my mind when I sit down and start it. But yeah, if we don't break 3 hours, then I'm happy. That's how I kind of.
Right. Also, I was conscious that we have June and July to get through on this because we've been a little tardy.
Yeah. To be fair, right, Fear. I was thinking about this yesterday as I was driving home from another wedding. We are in peak wedding / holiday season.
Of course.
Yeah. And my internet decided to die over one weekend when we were going to record it. Like the weekend when the weekend when I played that game where it just absolutely tanked in the middle of that Thrud game. We were actually going to record, and I went to work on the Saturday or Sunday, whichever day it was, and I came home and my other half had said, well, the internet's been on and off all day. It hasn't stayed stable all day. And just bizarrely.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, again, real life throws these things in. So yeah. But no, we got here in the end.
So what I've done is I've got a list of the tournaments and the places, but I haven't particularly this time looked too much at the rule sets because
that's fair.
I just think we're going to struggle to squeeze all that in. But nevertheless, so starting in June, we have the CCC Bowl in Durham, which is a four-player team tournament.
Oh, nice!
Quite an interesting one.
Nice.
Our winners were Punchy McCragfists, who you'll remember won UK BBL, I think. Punchy McCragfists with Orcs, HG with Norse, Bashto with Chorf, and Break Munker with Delph.
Oh, I know
Dark
that
Elves.
Name.
Sorry,
yep, I know that name.
Yeah, Break Munker comes up a bit actually. The touchdowns were won by Black Hawk Down with Orcs, Beards, Nurgles, Chili's, Elven Union, and Sneaky Bacon's Dark Elves.
So hold on. So they were doing most touchdowns and presumably their most CAS for the whole team combined.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's interesting. Okay,
it's nice, isn't it?
I like that. Yeah. Get a team like Nurgle in to keep the score for the opposition low, while you're Skaven, Wood Elf, whatever, run rings round them and rack up the 3, 4, 5 nils. Brilliant idea.
Could be. Yeah, it's good. And then casualties, again, team. So the team with the most casualties was Tabets Orcs, Hardcore Stig with Human, PO 2223 with Dwarfs, and Walkers High Elves. So well done to all of those. There was no information on sort of painting or stunties or anything like that for that one.
Congratulations for all of them.
Sorry, say again?
Oh, I just say congratulations to all of them. Yep.
Yes. And the Glass Plate Cup in Gloucester, which was run by your friend of mine, Brock Dodge.
Oh, Brock Dodge, what a lovely guy. I must message him, actually. Yeah, I haven't spoken to Brock in a while, yeah.
Sadly, Brock, when I went on the NAF page for the tournament, I couldn't see any information as to who had won or come second or anything like that. Now, I know Brock listens to the podcast, so I'm hoping that he will send you a message and we can say who did what in this tournament on the next episode.
Very clever, very clever. Message me, Brock.
Yeah, message Hellboy. Then we have Pitch Invasion, which obviously you went to in High Wycombe.
Yes, yep.
And you'll know that Dankin won with Lizards.
Yes, indeed.
And
beat me, yep.
Granota was the runner-up with Slan.
Yes, exactly. Tempting me into Slan for Thrud. Yep.
And you will know that Touchdowns was won by Ben Alibibi with Goblins.
Yep.
And you will know that No Number took Best Kaz in his own shop with Undead.
Yep.
And you will know Rusty Sinclair won the Stunty Cup with Snots.
Indeed, Rusty was in the car with me driving to and from the competition.
Nice. And painting, I think, Aramie with Humans.
Yeah, rings a bell.
I don't know if you the Human team?
Not particularly. I think it's one of those things, isn't it? Even in a small venue, you don't always have the time to look at the team. You're talking to people.
No, you don't.
You're chatting to your mates. You're chatting to new people, but you don't actually have the time unless you play the person. You don't always have the time to look at their teams and go, "Oh yeah, that's really pretty," or or "Wow, how did you do that?" So,
mate, I manage not to find, because I usually at UKTC I like to at least wander over and have a look at what's been put up for best painting, because they put it on a table, don't they?
Yep.
And I didn't even manage to find it this year's edition. So, it's hard, isn't it? Yeah. So next we've got the Down Open, which was in County Down. But sadly, again, couldn't see any information about who had won or come second.
What a shame, guys. Make sure you get these. Make sure you get this updated. Maybe the podcast can be a real drive in encouraging people to get this information uploaded. Yeah, because this is what we want. We can't we can't talk about these things and talk about I wonder what build they had and congratulations whoever if we don't have the information. Oh dear. Okay.
It's hard, isn't it?
No, but it does keep us on track for time, so that's good. Yeah.
Yes. So then we're at Alpha Games in Bury St Edmunds, where a winner was Shanks 84 with Tomb Kings.
Okay. Congratulations.
A runner was Evans with Orcs.
Okay.
And Griffin, who I've heard of.
Yes.
Downs with Elven Union with a Mighty Six. I think this was the one there. Shanks 84 and then Tomb Kings backed up the winner's trophy with a Most Kaz, which was 13. And Stunty was won by Strubot and Goblins.
Excellent stuff.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we head over to Cardiff for the Welsh Championships.
Ah, yes. Gutted I couldn't make that one this year. It came out of nowhere as an awkward time for me, unfortunately, because it was being held in earlier in the year, and then through COVID and a mixture of other things, it got delayed till the summer this year. But it's back early in the year next year, I believe. So do get
January. I think it's already up on Talk Fantasy Football, and I mean I think it's in January. It's a 2-day tournament in Cardiff. I think with UKTC vacating that January slot, I'm hoping that for the guys that run it, that it's going to be really, really popular this year, because the rules are really interesting. Because I think, as I said previously on the last episode, I think the rule set just gives you such a wide variety of options. Literally all of the kind of the the mega rosters that people have been talking about potentially work, I think, in the rule set. So anyway, we'll see how. But for this year, the winner was one of your Welsh Euro Bowl teammates, the Shepherd.
The Shepherd.
Yep. Yeah, took home the win with his Skaven.
Yeah, very good. And also, the Shepherd has taken over from Hawker in running the Welsh Championships now. So I think there was some deal done where if you won the tournament, you had to host it, next year, kind of thing. I think that's what happened rather than
Eurovision.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's yeah. You win. Right now, you have to organise it. Good luck. So yeah.
We're all at Shepherd's house next year, are we?
Yeah. Big January barbecue. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the runner-up was Redshirt 15 or 13 with Undead. Touchdowns was again the Shepherd, obviously Skaven. Kaz for Hobnail with Goblin. Great to see Hobnail playing some Blood Bowl. Stunty, Hobnail again walking away with that with his violent goblins. Fluffy the Alien took Best Painted with Corn. Fluffy's a great painter, so not a surprise. And then, as if the Shepherd has not had a good enough weekend with a win and a Best Kaz, there was also an award for the Best Performing Welsh Coach. So he takes that home as well.
Exactly. Yep. No, lovely.
Brilliant.
Great work from the Shepherd there. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. I think we're then over in the Isle of Wight for the Isle of Wight Sand Bowl, where our winner is Gimli01 with Amazon. Our runner-up is Lemph with Skaven. Touchdown to the brilliantly titled Purple Dodo with Goblin. You have to do a double check to check it wasn't Purple Goo. Kaz is Prime Rack with Imperial Nobility. That's a good one.
Oh.
And Purple Dodo has backed up that touchdown win with his Goblins, with also taking home the Stunty Cup. So well done to Purple Dodo.
Yeah, brilliant. I'll tell you what.
Seems to be quite.
You go. You carry on.
That's right. I was just saying that when we do these, there always seems to be a tournament on the Isle of Wight in every roundup we do. It seems to be there's quite a thriving scene over there.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we should go and check it out sometime. Yeah, go over at some point. Yeah, I do like the Isle of Wight. Yeah. I was also going to say as well, it's interesting to see this time. Obviously we're seeing some recurring names within the tournaments themselves, but we're seeing a reasonable spread of races. Earlier on in the year, we were just seeing orcs this, orcs that, but we're starting to see some other teams, branching in and hitting some of these top positions. So it's nice to see a spread of races as well.
The only place where it feels like it's squeezing in a bit, actually, is all the Stunty Cups seem to be going Goblin.
Yeah, the era of the Halfling, is that... Have we seen the era of the Halfling pass and the age of the Goblin has come?
It really seems like. I think we're going to keep going on this as we go through, but yeah, it does feel like not every Stunty Cup, but it does feel like Goblins are winning out in that Stunty battle at the moment, which is interesting because a lot of people said they were dead, didn't they?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Doom Diver gone.
Yeah. So then we're in Derby for the Two Drunk Flings tournament. Trollface has won that with his Dark Elves. Splay his Dwarfs. Fluffy Kraken has taken home TD with Skaven.
Oh, now that's brilliant because I played Fluffy Kraken at NAF Championships in Game 4 with Skaven. And I gave him advice on his one turn. I wonder whether he's learnt how to one turn now.
Maybe. Wow. Fluffy Cracker. If you are listening to this, please message Hellboy and let him know if you managed to pull off a one turn.
This could be coming full circle. Most touchdowns. One turning monster. I created a monster at NAFC. Amazing. Anyway, carry on. I'm excited.
Sparky took home Cows with Humans. Beige, a lantern, took home the Stunty Cup. Well, it's a 2 drunk fling tournament, so it had to be with flings, didn't it? And Best Painted was taken home by Flux Pack for their corn.
Well done, everyone.
The next tournament, the Gauntlet Throwdown in Mould in Flintshire. See what you think of this. So the winner was K-Foged.
Okay.
With halflings.
Okay.
Second was a Sporran, the Nafsi champ with Tomb Kings.
Okay.
Touchdowns was taken by K-Foged with halflings.
Yep.
Casualties was taken by, did you guess?
K-Foged.
With halflings.
Okay.
I'm guessing they decided that he couldn't win all the trophies, so the Stunty Cup went to Lord Bonan with goblins.
Very nice. Now, Core actually after this after let me read you the message he wrote to me.
Right. Okay.
Ready? You guys need to tell people. Okay, here we go. You guys need to tell people to stop doing 1.2 tournaments, so that's 1.2 TV tournaments, that allow 2 stars for Stunty. My chef Deeproot Griff with 2 block trees got first Stunty Cup, most touchdown and most Kaz yesterday. Grinning face emoji. Also, he then adds a little later in the conversation. Also, 4 sidestep flings, 2 sneaky gits, and then 4 blank. So there we go. Straight from the.
He's just broken the rule set.
Absolutely broken it, you know. But anyway, credit to him. Well done. You're great at Blood Bowl. Yeah. Go home.
Yeah, well done, cool. Okay, well then we're I think we must be in Derbyshire somewhere or Staffordshire for the D for Dubs. So D for Dan's doubles tournament.
Very good.
Winners are again K-Foged with Chorf and Barney the Lurker with Dwarfs. The winning pair.
Well done.
Runner-up Fire Breather with Renegades and Little Lead Person with Underworld. So some new names there, I think.
Wonderful.
Great to see them taking runner-up in a tournament. Touchdowns, D for Dan took touchdowns with Skaven at his own tournament. So well done, Dan. And casualties, Camp Mark took casualties with Orcs.
Wonderful. Congratulations all.
Yeah, absolutely. We then head north of the border to Scotland for the Dundee Doubles.
Dundee Doubles, lovely.
Where and again another doubles tournament. So great to see those. I never played one myself, so might be something to try in the future.
If only you could find a sidekick to go with you.
Yeah, I don't know where I'll do that.
Maybe Dragonborn is free.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see, Hellboy. We'll see. The winner is Garlic is humans and Shrike with Dark Elves. That's the winning pair.
Lovely.
The runner-up pair is Sporran with Dark Elves and Kilted Kiwi with High Elves.
Congratulations.
The touchdown went to Jack H and his Snotlings, which is that's pretty good for touchdowns, isn't it? And the Stunty Cup went to Alderpagus with Ogres, and the Best Painted went to Amsfeld with Skaven. Just want to pause here because this is a community roundup, and I think it's probably worth mentioning here that unfortunately, a week or so after this tournament, Kilted Kiwi, who we mentioned there, who finished in a runners-up spot, unfortunately passed away in, I understand, as a result of a car accident. I didn't know Kilted Kiwi at all. I don't know that you did either, and so I'm not gonna, sort of try and deliver a eulogy or anything along those lines. But I think what we can say is that from the sort of reaction from the community that I saw on Twitter, and from some of the things that I read within the Welsh Blood Bowl community, and also knowing that he was, captain of the Scotland Euro Bowl team. I think what we can say is obviously someone that seemed to have had a real impact within Blood Bowl, and someone that will obviously be missed. And I think on behalf of Hellboy and myself, obviously, we'd just like to say that our thoughts are with anyone that's been affected by his passing away.
Yep, absolutely, 100% in agreement with everything you said there, Fear, and yeah, it's just a loss for the community, and definitely should be mentioned in the community roundup.
Absolutely. We move on from there to Imps Gaming in Lincoln, where Ari23 wins the tournament with Necro. The runner-up
Necro.
spot.
We haven't had a Necro result in a while, actually.
That's the first top. Yeah, in a while.
That's a while. Yeah. Okay. Good stuff.
Someone I know who used to be in the Midlands tournament scene, who now lives over in the East Midlands, the Rake, who's a very good Norse player, shared second place. He was using Norse, and Ratman was using Skaven, and they seem to have shared second place. Ratman then also took home best touchdowns, whilst the Rake shared the best casualty award with Hobgoblin and Ogres.
Wow.
Hobgoblin then took Stunty Cup with their ogres. So yeah, we've got a lot of sharing going on and a lot of dual.
That's lovely. That's a lovely friendly tournament there. Sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. And the best painted was won by Slicey and Vampires, which I think I would have loved to see. To be honest, I like a well painted vampire team.
Yeah, wonderful.
Now. We move on, I think, to BBQ in Bracknell, where the winner was Shmi with Tomb Kings. So again, another Tomb King winner. That's interesting.
Yeah,
they're
that's
obviously
interesting.
doing right at the moment.
Yeah, they're doing good.
Dave the Impaler takes home touchdowns with Corn.
Nice. What touchdowns?
I can't help. I think Dave the Impaler has missed the point of Corn there, winning best touchdown. Supposed to be best Kaz, mate. Supposed to be best Kaz. But the best Kaz was taken home by Kneecappers Dwarfs. A reasonably well-known coach, some people will have heard of. A chap called Lycos won the Stunty Cup with Halflings.
Very good.
And Mr. Mezcal took home the best painted with Ogres. Pretty good.
Congratulations.
We're then on to one of these 24-hour tournaments, Block Around the Clock 9, won by Don Vito. Again, heard of Don Vito, with his Shambling Undead. The runner-up was Rydog with Amazon. Excuse me. Amazon, I don't think featuring too highly, so good to see them.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, very nice.
PO2223 features again, getting best touchdowns with their Imperial Nobility. Breakmunker with casualties on their Renegades, and the Stunty Cup, Gob, and no surprise, Yudliger.
Yudliger. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations all there.
And then we head into London for the Pearly Kings and Queens. Always a popular tournament. I mean, to be honest, two players. I presume there was more than two players in attendance, but two players seem to have dominated all the trophies. Straume, who used to be known as Straume, who used to be known on NAF as Loner, but has always been known on Fumble as Straume, is now Straume on NAF. And listeners will remember that he threw some absolute nonsense to beat me 1-0 at UKTC. He took the title with Wood Elves. A good friend of, or at least passing acquaintance of Hellboy and I's, Volcaggio, who seems to be traveling from Germany to play tournaments, to be fair. But Volcaggio took home the runners-up with Snotlings, so fair play for that.
Very good. Very good.
Straume took home touchdowns. Volcaggio took casualties, and Volcaggio also took the Stunty Cup.
Lovely.
So, well done. I mean, both of them have travelled, I presume, travelled to the UK for that tournament, so well done to both of them for winning everything. We're then down in Bournemouth for a tournament called the South Coast Series, which I believe is part of a series of tournaments run by the the podcast down there. Bonehead, the Bonehead podcast.
Oh, yes.
Guys run the South Coast Series, yeah. Greenskin Phil took the tournament win with Goblins. Gimli 01 took second place with Goblins.
Oh, okay.
I'm sensing a pattern here. Total Fuzzy Logic got touchdowns with Norse.
Interesting.
Toxic 6 got Kaz with Corn. Perhaps needs to have a chat with Dave the Impaler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Show him the. Yeah. The Stunty was taken home by Gimli with Goblins. Presumably, Greenskin Phil couldn't win the Stunty Cup having won the tournament, so Gimli gets it with a runner-up.
Yeah.
And then painted by Merc Girl Emma with Goblins again.
Interesting.
Seems a lot of goblins there.
Yeah, it seems like there must have been maybe there was an extra few skills for goblins or something.
Yeah, maybe. And then we were in Glasgow for Glasbowl 1. Great to see Glasbowl 1 happening. Amsfeld wins with Dark Elves. Zhao is second with Black Orcs. Amsfeld, unsurprisingly, takes the touchdowns, having won the tournament with Dark Elves. Lewis M takes Kaz with Ogres. The Stunty is Aldepagus with Ogres. That'll be second Stunty, I think, having taken one of the Dundee doubles as well. And the delightfully titled Chaos Hugs takes home Best Painted for their humans.
Wonderful. Well done, everyone.
Makes me very happy. I like the name Chaos Hugs. And then we're at Nuffles Trigger in Gloucester, where Genghis Kong wins with Wood Elves. L Planet 4 is runner-up with Dark Elves. The Mighty Irish wins touchdowns with Lizards. And Badger takes the casualties with Corn.
Congratulations. Another person who needs to talk to Dave the Impaler.
Well, that's it, isn't it? That's it. Best cars with Corn. That's what we're going. And then a lady that we mentioned earlier, Merc Girl Emma, who had won Best Painted at the South Coast Series with her Goblins, then is running a tournament in Taunton called Excalibur Summer Sword, where we know that the winner was Red Shirt with Imperial Nobility. The runner-up was a fairly experienced coach called Gorgoroth with Tomb Kings. And touchdowns was taken by Little Yoshi 1979 with Skaven.
Very good. Congratulations, everyone.
Monkey Bowl 15. Monkey Bowl is one of the more long-running tournaments, I think, around. I think is it run by Pipey? Who?
Yeah. UKTC fame.
Right?
Yep.
The win was taken by Breakmunker and their Orcs. The runner-up slot was taken by Walker and their High Elves. Bucky took touchdowns with Tomb Kings, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, staggering, really, yeah.
Stick took casualties with Tomb Kings. Crom France took Stunty Cut with Ogres. And HD took Best Painted with Norse. How on earth do you take home most touchdowns with Tomb Kings?
Play Snotlings and remove them. You know, if you've got a tackle mighty blow that fires on every Snotling that gets hit, and you remove the trolls and whatnot, or the pump wagons or whatever it is that's been taken, you then and they run out of players or something. Maybe that's how. And you run in and pick the ball up.
I mean, incredible achievement, isn't it? But there we go. So then we're at another 24-hour charity tournament in Somerton, Cots for Tots. The winner is Mr. Green with Ogres. The runner-up is Freezing Star. Casualties is Trotter with Dwarfs. Touchdowns is Ginger Say with Undead. Having won the tournament, no surprise that Mr. Green also takes home the Stunty Cup with his Ogres. And Best Painted also Ogres with Soybean.
Very nice. Well done, everyone.
Then we're back in Cardiff for, I'm not even sure I can say this, Quapan Drake. I'm sure anyone on the Wells Blood Bowl group that listens to the podcast will slaughter me for that pronunciation tomorrow. I will mention that...
they're not going to slaughter you because they'll remember that you're the number one Chorf online Welsh player.
Of course. And
yeah, exactly. Of course, Harv, yeah.
Yeah. But also, they haven't put any results on the NAF page, so I can't tell you what happened.
Oh, come on, boys.
Yeah. And then we have the Printed Player, which I think is a sponsor name. Pre-Thrud Throwdown. And all I know about that one is it was won by Spleggy and their High Elves. And then, last but by no means least, we're up in Rotherham for Titan Bowl 3, where a guy that beat me at Water Bowl, Scouse Boy, takes the win with his Undead. Daffo, runner-up with Nurgle. Quite a good result for Nurgle in a runners-up slot. Don't see too much of that. Bloodthirsty AJ takes home touchdowns with humans. Daffo also took Kaz, so no surprise there, I suppose, doing well with Nurgle. Needs some Kaz. Dark Throne Snotlings take home the Stunty Cup. And they also take home Best Painted. And that, my friend, is the community roundup.
Fantastic. I tell you what makes me really happy is that although we're only mentioning, a handful of names each time, and sometimes they are the same names, it's amazing how many tournaments are being run. And, there has to be a minimum number hit in order to become NAF registered. So we're seeing a lot of Blood Bowl and a lot of people participating. And that is just joyful to see.
When we started doing this, the intention was that these roundups would cover tournaments right across Europe or maybe even the world. And which, I mean, my voice has kind of gone and I'm trying not to cough too much, just talking through those three. The amount of tournaments in the UK are just, it's just too much. We can't.
Yeah, it's great. Exactly.
Played.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And, I think, going forward, if, this year, if you want to, or something, but if someone listens to the podcast and wants has got an upcoming tournament that wants a shout out, I gave a shout out last time for the Pitch Invasion series for no number stuff. He didn't ask me to, but I did because I enjoy those tournaments. I'm going to be there, and you give out the shout outs to your local ones as well because we want those to be to be supported. But if someone knows they've got tournaments, a tournament coming up, that's their first one or something, just get in touch with the podcast, and if it suits, if it fits our timing, of course we'll give it a shout out. We want the Blood Bowl community as a whole to be doing these tournaments. So yeah, and we want to be reporting on them, and get your results in on the website, please, folks, so that we can actually read them off.
Yeah, on the NAF side. Absolutely. But yeah, it's been amazing how much Blood Bowl's been going on. It's been amazing how much Blood Bowl you and I have played.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
we got good. Got some
actually.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's been a phenomenal episode, I think. I wasn't expecting it to be that. So much has gone on, in terms of the matches, the craziness that we've both had in all these games and stuff. And it's also felt quite nice to play. Not that, Road to Thrud was any less of a tournament, but it was just nice to play for fun, And the Super League, I'm playing it for quite a lot of fun. I want to be playing these games, but it's nice to play some NAF stuff really to just enjoy, So that's been good for me.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
and to drive some and stuff and all that. It's been great. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, shall we bring this one to a close then, and we'll see about getting in one more episode before Euro Bowl. I'm sure we can manage one before Euro Bowl, maybe even two. It depends on what goes on with our Blood Bowl. But for now, thank you very much for listening, guys, to episode 8 of the Blood Bowl Diaries. I've been Hellboy.
I've been the Fear.
And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.